and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus with you. It's just me today. Brett Norsworthy still out. He'll be back on Tuesday down in Atlanta with Ole Miss football. A big game for them tomorrow against Penn State. Johnny Hill, unfortunately, a little under the weather today and won't be able to join us. But that's okay. We've got a lot to get to, a lot of great guests today, and a lot to talk about. It's bowl season, a lot of bowl games going on right now, but most notably here locally, the Memphis Tigers in action currently against Iowa State in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, a little local bowl game for the Tigers, a rematch of the bowl game in 2017, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game in 2017, where the Tigers and Iowa State faced off in what was really a fun game. Unfortunately, the Tigers lost, but I've been reminded many times this week about just how many NFL players were I guess, future NFL players played in that game for both sides. I don't know how many we have on this. I know a lot of Tigers are pursuing the NFL after this game is over, as they've ran out of eligibility. But a good game nonetheless. An Iowa State team that comes in very young, 7-5 in the Big 12. A Memphis team that is 9-3 on the season, and the line was about 10.5 before the game started. Maybe it got down to 10, but I know we certainly played it at 10.5 when we made our picks yesterday. And right now, with still 5 minutes left in the first quarter, Memphis is up 13-0 over Iowa State. So just how everybody thought it was gonna play out in the first quarter. Memphis up by 13 points. Certainly not what I thought would happen. I was confident that the Tigers would come out and be very competitive. I mean, I think there's a lot of things working in their advantage, but also some things that are not working to their advantage and working more into Iowa State's advantage. I've heard a lot of people talking today about the weather. It's I thought the sun was coming out for a little bit, but it's cold outside. Rain or shine today, it's cold. I'm currently seeing about 40 degrees outside, so a really chilly environment. That honestly kind of plays into Iowa State. It's colder over there. They've played in some really cold games late in the season. Their last game against Kansas State was in the snow. It was a snow game against Kansas State where they upsetted the top 25 ranked Kansas State team. So coming in, a young team, not a lot of opt-outs or transfer portal guys for Iowa State, not a ton. Outside of really the offensive line, that was the big story coming in for Memphis, is that offensive line. There just wasn't a ton of starters that were coming back. We knew of a handful, but you're missing 2 or 3 really big-time guys on the offensive line. But the Tigers come out, a home game for them, so you know they feel comfortable at home on their home court, home field. It's basketball season as well as football season, but they feel super comfortable and are up 13-0 as Iowa State has just gotten the ball back, and they'll try to get some points on the board. But hopefully, this Tiger defense that has been really, really impressive on that first possession will continue to stand. It was actually so fast that Memphis scored. The game before this, which we'll talk about in just a second, because it was a great game. Clemson in Kentucky was still going on. We didn't get to the Memphis game before Memphis was on the board, and I looked up and on the TV, and I saw Iowa State has the ball, and I didn't really think anything of it. I saw the kickoff right when they went from Kentucky, Clemson to Memphis and Iowa State. Memphis was kicking the ball off. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, perfect. They timed it up. They shifted it back a little bit, started it at 35 or 40 or whatever it is, and they just waited till the ESPN came over, and now we're starting the game. So I didn't think anything of it. I went back to prepping for the show, and I looked back up a couple seconds later to see what Iowa State's going to do with the ball on their first possession, and I see it's 6-0 Memphis. They're already on the board, and so a great start for the Tigers. They scored on their first possession and second possession, missed the extra point on their first possession, and now up 13-0. Iowa State is currently in their own end zone. I mean, completely backed up. I think there was a penalty on the kickoff. So if you're not there, hopefully a lot of people are there cheering on this Tiger team. But if you're not there, if you're not in front of a television, hope you're here with us, and we will try to keep you as updated as possible throughout the game. Like I said, still a lot of time left in that first quarter of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Some other bowl games I want to talk about in this first segment. I also want to talk about Thursday Night Football. I thought a really fun game last night between the Jets and the Browns. We'll get to that in a second. But today, just like yesterday, we've got pretty much wall-to-wall bowl games. Currently, Oregon State and Notre Dame going on alongside the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. That game started at 1 o'clock earlier today over on CBS, and it's all Notre Dame in this one. 17-0 is currently the score as Notre Dame just converted on a 44-yard field goal. And I think this is exactly how a lot of people thought this game was going to play out. Maybe not, because I don't exactly know where the betting line started or where it has moved throughout the day. I saw it before the game started at about 5.5, and so I took it. I'm not going to lie to you, but I saw it at 5.5. And just with what's going on, I know Notre Dame, Sam Hartman is not playing in this game today. He is going to get ready for the NFL draft. But over on the other side for Oregon State, missing their starting quarterback, their backup quarterback, who was in the transfer portal. Their head coach is now at Michigan State, and their backup quarterback ended up committing to Michigan State to follow his head coach. So, and a lot more transfer portal entrants for Oregon State. So, a really depleted roster. We've talked about that for a couple of these teams in bowl season already, and I'm curious to talk to some of our guests today, most notably Alan Bell and Bruce Marshall from the gambling standpoint, because I know I've talked to a lot of people, some buddies, some family members who are watching these games, and it's kind of split 50-50. Some people are saying, hey, these bowl games are always fun. I'm always going to watch a bowl game. If football's on, I'm going to watch it. And then on the other side, it's people saying, well, I don't even know who these teams are anymore. I mean, you look up and this team's starting a fourth-string quarterback, and this team has their entire offensive line is either in the transfer portal or opted out. How can you watch this? How can this be fun to watch? This looks nothing like it should look. And I see both sides. I'm more on the side of it's football and I'm going to watch. But I do understand the sentiment of these are not the teams that you would be seeing on a regular Saturday. I was talking to my dad the other day, and there was a bowl game on. I don't remember which one, or maybe it was a couple days ago. It was the SMU Boston College game was going to be the next morning, and I said, it'll be a fun morning for you because, I think you had the day off, and I said you'll be able to sit and, watch football all day. First game of the day is SMU Boston College. That'll be a lot of fun. And he said, I can barely watch these bowl games anymore. I don't know any of the players. I mean, it's all backups and third strings, fourth strings. I said, whatever bowl game was on right then, I said, name 3 players on each team. And, so that's kind of how I view it of, these are guys playing football. They're obviously very good if they're getting scholarships to play at the collegiate level. So I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to have a lot of fun doing so. But certainly a depleted roster for Oregon State, and they're currently losing 17-0. Earlier today, a thriller, Clemson and Kentucky. Clemson with a 38-35 victory over Kentucky in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, a game that was back and forth all afternoon. It really looked like Clemson was out of it in the second half. At the end of the second quarter, Kentucky was up 14-10, but then they come out to start the third quarter and run back the kickoff to start the second half, made it 21-10, and then Clemson, they start chipping away in the fourth quarter, couldn't really get anything going in the third quarter, and I wrote down this question that I'll likely ask some of our guests today. Do you trust Cade Klubnik? It seems like he was going to be the future. This is the guy that Clemson has kind of put all their stock in. They get rid of DJU. Now he's looking for another school after a year with Oregon State. Do you trust this guy? Because in the third quarter, I know a lot of times this season, people have said, is Cade Klubnik really the guy? And in this game, especially in the third quarter when they're down 21-10, it really looked like he just was not the guy that you would want back there to lead the comeback. But I might have spoken a little too soon because in the fourth quarter, Clemson starts their comeback. They score a touchdown, kick a field goal, score another touchdown, really rolling in the fourth quarter. Kentucky gets back on the board and makes it 28-27, and then Clemson drives right back down, kicks a field goal to make it 30-28 with less than 2 minutes left in the game, and then Kentucky goes down and scores a touchdown. And less than 5 minutes left when Clemson took that lead. Kentucky goes down, runs a couple minutes off the clock, scores a touchdown, and then Clemson drives the ball right back down the field, scores again to win the game. So incredibly back and forth, an incredibly entertaining game, especially in that fourth quarter and second half. So those are the games we've had today. Again, Memphis, Iowa State going on right now in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And then later tonight, we'll have the Cotton Bowl between Missouri and Ohio State. So that will be a ton of fun. Last night was a lot of fun. Speaking of college bowl games, we had the Pop-Tart Bowl, which me and Johnny and I talked about yesterday a lot because of the mascot that they have at the Pop-Tarts Bowl. They came out a couple weeks ago with a statement saying, we're going to have the first edible mascot. And it's going to be, the Pop-Tart mascot is going to turn into an edible mascot after the game that the winning team will eat. And so a lot of people were saying, well, what does that mean? How in the world is a mascot going to turn into an edible mascot? And we talked about it yesterday on the show, and it really played out how we thought it would play out. I mean, they had this giant toaster. The Pop-Tart pops out of the toaster before the game, and then after the game, he climbs back on top, goes down into the toaster, and out comes a giant Pop-Tart. But it was a fun game. Kansas State with a 28-19 win over NC State. And their young quarterback, Avery Johnson, is, I think, a name that a lot of people should learn, need to learn, will learn in the next couple of years because he had a really, really good game and played extremely well and really looked like a difference maker. Johnny Radio said this earlier, and I think it's a great point. If you did not watch that game last night, it's hard to realize how good of a player Avery Johnson was in that game. Because he was the difference maker. He really was the difference maker in this game. DJ Giddens was really good. The running back had 151 yards. But Avery Johnson, a young quarterback, having to step in when you've had Will Howard. Now he's going off to USC, and you're just throwing this young quarterback in there. He played extremely well, and he never looked like the moment was too big. John pointed out earlier that there were a couple of times in that game where he's getting flushed out of the pocket, he's getting rushed, and he just throws the ball away. And that's something that you rarely see with young quarterbacks in college football, especially in a spot like this where it's a bowl game. There's a trophy on the line. All of these young quarterbacks are thinking to themselves the weeks leading up to this game, I can go in and make a statement. This can be a statement game for me, and I can really show. So I'm going to go out and try to make as many plays as I can. And he didn't really do that. He really just got the job done. I thought it was really effective, and certainly will improve as he gets developed more, learns the system more. But Avery Johnson last night, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, and added 71 yards and a touchdown on the ground. So a really effective game for him, and I think the future is very, very bright for him and Kansas State. The other game of note from last night, Arizona-Oklahoma. Arizona ends up winning 38-24, but I thought a really fun game all around. Jackson Arnold, the young quarterback for Oklahoma, the former 5-star that a lot of people have been talking about in Oklahoma and nationally leading up to this game. A lot of people were really excited about what Jackson Arnold could do given the opportunity. And I think if you watch the game, kind of another situation with Avery Johnson of there were moments last night when you were watching that game and you said, this kid's got it. This kid is playing really well. There's something there. He could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country in a couple of years. And then there were other times where you said, this kid's not ready. This kid, he needs some more seasoning. He needs, to watch a little bit more. 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He also fumbled the ball once, but did add 38 yards on the ground. Some of the throws were just unbelievable. We had one throw in the corner of the end zone that ended up being a touchdown. That was really, just an unbelievable throw. But then, like I said, 3 interceptions. There was going to be another one that they were going to say was going to be a 4th interception, but it ended up. It shouldn't have ever been called an interception. It was ruled at first interception. They went back in the stats and changed it later, but he completes this throw, and immediately after completion, his receivers hit. The ball flies up in the air, and Iowa State DB comes down with it, and he takes it all the way back for a pick 6. But it was certainly, even if it was a interception, certainly wouldn't have been Jackson Arnold's fault. So I thought a really fun game. And we've seen a couple of young quarterbacks in the past couple of days that have really, they've had an opportunity and they have really shined given that opportunity. I'm going to set up today's show in a second. We've got a ton of guests, our regulars on Friday, so we've got a ton to talk about, and we're going to get to top and not top story of the day. Spoiler alert, this Memphis Tigers start is going to be my top story of the game. The Tigers have scored again. I'll get to that a little bit more in top story. An unbelievable start to the game, and you have got to be excited if you are a Tiger fan watching this game. So we'll get to all of that in a second, but I do want to talk about Thursday Night Football. Last night, the final Thursday Night Football game of this season, as next week we won't have Thursday Night Football because it's the last week. Every game will be played on Sunday. So it was, New York Jets, Cleveland Browns. I don't know if it's the Thursday Night Football game a lot of people wanted, but it is the Thursday Night Football game that we got. And what Joe Flacco is doing right now in the NFL is nothing short of unbelievable. It is incredible. Last night, 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. I had a buddy who has been telling me for the last 2 or 3 weeks, Joe Flacco is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And I'll be honest, I kind of got to agree with him right now. I mean, Joe Flacco coming in off his couch. I was listening to the Thursday Night Football coverage that you can listen to right here on Sports 56 every single Thursday night. And they were talking about that he joked after, being picked up by the Browns that, he was spending Sundays at his parents' house and watching all of these NFL games. He's done with football. He's 38 years old and his prime is behind him. And then he gets picked up by Cleveland, and through a short stint, 1,600 yards, over 1,600 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, and has been a massive part of the Browns clinching a spot in the playoffs, which they did last night. And the Browns have been unbelievable at home, 8-1 on their home field, 11-5 on the season. That defense for Cleveland is a big part of it. We've got to mention that. They've been really good. But it was complete domination by the Browns last night, a 37-20 win over the Jets. For the Jets, it's an unfortunate season for them. I know that, we talked about this yesterday leading into the game, but the sky was the limit for this team to start the season. And, you bring in Aaron Rodgers. You have the offensive and defensive rookies of the year. You've got a ton of young talent. You're putting all of them together, and Super Bowl is what people were talking about. And the fact that you end the season 6-10 is certainly disappointing. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is the biggest part of it, and his injury in the first game of the season. They've not had any real consistency at the quarterback position since Aaron Rodgers went out with an injury. Trevor Siemian started last night, 261 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Garrett Wilson, who's been pretty vocal lately about this season and kind of the disappointment, he had 50 yards last night and did get over 1,000 yards receiving, which is huge for him in his career, and obviously kind of surprising with kind of how bad this Jets team has been offensively. And I think I saw somebody said they rank like 26th or 27th in passing, offensive passing. So a really good season for Garrett Wilson as he gets over 1,000 yards, but only 3 touchdowns on the season for the young Jets receiver. Well, we'll talk a lot of NFL today. We'll talk a lot of college football, but let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. At 3:30, Alan Bell is joining us to talk wagering. I'm super excited to get Alan on because he has started his own little venture, I guess I should say, and we'll let him speak more about it. But you can go check him out on YouTube and what he's doing now. But we're going to get a ton of picks, college football with some big bowl games this weekend, and also the NFL this weekend. We'll do a lot of that with Alan in our next segment. 3:45, we're talking Tigers. We're going to talk what's going on in this football game right now in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl as they're taking on Iowa State, but also Tiger basketball in action tomorrow night against Austin Peay as they wrap up their non-conference slate. So we'll talk about both of those games. Also, we've got Tiger basketball tickets to give away. If you want to go to Memphis, Austin Peay tomorrow night, we're going to be giving away tickets at 3:45 during that segment while we're talking Tigers. We're giving away a pair of tickets and a parking pass to tomorrow night's game. I'll give you more information on that when we get there. Probably we'll do a text in, maybe a second or third texter that comes in on the text line. We'll give those tickets, but we'll do that at 3:45 while we're talking Tigers. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net will join us. We'll do more wagering with Bruce, talk about a lot of these college football games and obviously the college football playoffs taking place on Monday. 4:30, Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas will join us to talk the Razorbacks and the SEC. A lot going on. Some news with the football team. They're in need of a new receivers coach, and also the basketball team takes on UNC Wilmington tomorrow, which a lot of people will remember UNC Wilmington beating Kentucky a couple weeks ago in Rupp Arena. So a lot to talk to Ty Richardson about. We'll do that at 4:30. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Jason Munz, the Tiger basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. As always, he's presented by Jim's Place in Carville. Jason will join us. We'll talk a lot of Tiger basketball as the Tigers about to make that turn into conference play. One more non-conference game left on the slate. Like I mentioned, Austin Peay tomorrow night at FedEx Forum. We also got to talk about Naquan Tomlin's debut and a lot that happened in that last game against Vanderbilt. A scary win for the Tigers before Christmas. 5:30, we get to our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. Even though it's just me today, I've got everybody's picks. We're still keeping up with it in a big weekend. I have the standings for up till, I guess, through all the games last night, and I'm not positive of who everybody had for these games. I don't remember. That's shame on me, I guess. But I have all of the picks all the standings for where we stand today, and we'll talk about that when we get to our First National Bank and Trust. But it's close. It is very close between me and Brett and Johnny, not too far behind us. So it's going to be close down the stretch, and this weekend is going to be extremely important in terms of these bowl games. So we'll do that at 5:30, and at 5:45 we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Well, a lot going on today, a lot going on this weekend, and we're going to talk about as much of it as we can. And as always, be a part of our show, 901-360-8255. Text in questions, comments, concerns, anything. We'll be reading texts all day long, and really anything. We're going to try to get to as much with such a busy weekend. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together, and even though it's the end of the year, still great deals at Family Leisure. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Are you tired and sore from all the shopping and Christmas in general? Check out their huge in-stock selection of hot tubs and massage chairs. Surprise your kids with a new arcade, game table, or play gym for the new year. And also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Happy New Year from their family to yours at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Let's get to top story of the day.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is the start that the Memphis Tigers are on right now in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. They're taking on Iowa State, a rematch from 2017. It was a great game in 2017, but you ask really anybody outside of Memphis of what would happen in today's game, and they would probably tell you it would be all Iowa State. But so far, that has not been the case. Iowa State just scored, but 19-7 the score right now, with Memphis in control as Iowa State scored early in the second quarter, but 19-0 your score after one quarter for the Memphis Tigers. It's been a unbelievable start. Seth Hennigan, Dave Woloshin and I were talking this morning about what this game needed to be for the Tigers if they were going to be competitive, if they were going to win, if they were going to hoist the AutoZone Liberty Bowl trophy at the end of the game. A lot of it came down to the offensive line, but a lot of it came down to Seth Hennigan. You have this quarterback that has the experience, who's been around the program for a long time. You're bringing in a lot of transfer guys at key positions. Blake Watson is a transfer. Some of those wide receivers that you're relying on have come in by way of transfer. You do have Rock Taylor out there that has been around for a while, but Seth Hennigan had to be that guy that stepped up and played his A game today against Iowa State. So far, he's done that. 9 for 10, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions through the first quarter, and they've been doing a lot of it. Like I said, 172 yards through the first quarter because they have not had the ball in the second quarter yet. And so Demir Blankensee, 70 yards and a touchdown. Joe Skates, 51 yards and a touchdown. And those were only on 1 reception each, so they are going for the home run balls. And we've been talking really all season about the speed from Blankensee. We've seen the speed last year and now this year in Joe Skates. 30 yards for Rock Taylor on 3 receptions. The ground game has been a little slow to start. I guess I shouldn't say that. We're only through 1 quarter. It seems like we're talking about a game that's already happened or a game that's at halftime with how we're talking about 172 yards through the air. But Blake Watson, 17 yards on 3 carries. Seth Hennigan did run for a touchdown earlier in this game, so he has 1 rush for 11 yards. On the other side, Rocco Beck, their quarterback, already 119 yards. He just threw his first touchdown pass, but they really can't get anything on the ground. We talked about this run game leading up to this game for Iowa State, but right now on 8 carries, only 15 yards for Iowa State. Memphis is getting the ball right now, so we'll see what they can do if they can respond with some points of their own. But currently, Tigers on top, 19-7.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, well, that's got to be the Grizzlies. Last night in Denver, and we knew about the illness that has been going around. Ja Morant did not play. Santi Aldama did not play. And because of that, the Nuggets, a 142-105 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't think it's necessarily a surprise. Maybe the fact that they won by that much might be a surprise, but let's look on the bright side. This Grizzlies team is a completely different team when Ja Morant is on the court, and they're still undefeated with him on the court. Now, Grizzlies back in action tonight, a late night game in LA against the Clippers. That's 9:30 tonight. Will he be back tonight after the sickness? I don't know. I hope so. Will Santi Aldama be back and give you something off the bench? I don't know. I hope so. But last night, it was all Nuggets. Desmond Bane led the team with 23 points. Marcus Smart added 17, and Jaren helped out with 14 points. You did get 15 points from David Roddy off the bench, and John Conchar added 10, but over for the Nuggets, 4 of their 5 starters finishing in double figures and played a lot of guys, especially late, with the big lead, but didn't get a ton off the bench. Did get some good minutes from Christian Brown and Julian Strawther, who finished with 11 and 12. So a good night for the Nuggets, not so much for the Grizzlies, but we'll see how they can bounce back tonight, like I said, on the road against the Clippers. Well, I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. When we come back, we're talking wagering with Alan Bell.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424 MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit. Dealers.com.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com. At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises. I'm with John Virgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today. Shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus here with you. We're about to talk to Alan Bell. Had some phone problems during the break, but thankfully we've got everything back up and hopefully working. We're going to try to see if we can get Alan on. He's on hold, but we'll see if we can get him connected and on. Alan, are you with me?
Bro, I'm right here with you, man. Great
Right,
job.
Alan.
Look, hey,
Oh,
look
man.
at you, man. Hey, you know what? It's playoff bowl season here, and you know what? You're handling it like a champ. That's how teams
thank you,
win.
Alan. Alan,
Well
that means
done.
a lot. Well, Alan, I'm so glad we've got you on today. We missed you last week, and you have started a new venture, and people can go and subscribe to you on YouTube. AB3 is what you're calling it. I'm real excited for it. I've been watching it since you first started, I guess, a week or so ago on there, and you've really been building it up, kind of the start of it. But what can you tell people about this new thing you've got going on YouTube?
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate that. You know what it is. What I'm building is a sports betting community, and it's going to be more than sports betting as well. But it's somewhere where everyone that bets on sports, talks sports, loves sports can come. You can come learn how to bet on sports for beginners, intermediate, experts. You can come for best bets every day that you want. You could come to a community and just come chop it up and talk sports, even if you don't bet. So it's for everyone, and you're right, man. We just started it. We're going to fire this thing up and get it going. So, yeah, just go to YouTube, man, at the AB3. That's it. Come find it, and I promise, man, you'll have a good time.
One thing I love, and you've been joining a show I've been either producing or have been a part of since I started working here, and so I've been here for 2.5 years now. So I've been following you for about 2.5 years, and one thing that I love about what you do is that it seems like in the betting community, kind of the same thing of like the gym culture and stuff like that. If it can be very intimidating for people to start who have questions and don't really know what they're doing. Some people can be, I don't want to say very arrogant, but some people can almost shoot people down when they have questions, if that question's too stupid or you should know that or something. But what you have done, what I've noticed ever since following you, is you want people to ask questions. You're all about teaching people and helping people learn. And so I love that that you're calling it a community, because it really seems like this is going to be a group of no matter what level you are, if you're just starting, if you're a veteran gambler, if you don't even gamble at all, everybody can come together and feel comfortable in this community.
Absolutely, man. That's exactly what I want it to be, and it is. And we've got, a ton of people already that have been in the, in the community for 2-3 years now, and they are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's the best chat. Like, there's no negativity, and everyone's there to help each other because it's us against the book.
That's right.
Right? And you're exactly right. Like, I want people to ask questions because anybody out there listening who's brand new, or if you're not, understand, every question that you have, I've already asked it before, right? So it's like, there's no dumb questions. Seriously, bring it, man. Like, it is for everyone at any level, and we have fun doing it, too.
I love it. That's awesome. The AB3, go check him out, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, Alan, I'm curious. I want to get to some of these bowl games, but I'm curious for you. We've been, really everybody up here has been talking about it, and I have a lot of friends that are talking about it. I think it might be one of the hot topics in college football right now with these bowl games is the transfer portal and how much it has changed these bowl games. And really from a gambling standpoint, I know one of the hosts here that I work with earlier in the day, he came in yesterday, and to use Oklahoma as an example, he came in yesterday and said, I think Tyree Walker, he's in the transfer portal. He's not playing for Oklahoma tonight. Well, I got on my computer and I looked it up, and I saw that he was playing. And so we had to look through and try to figure out if he was or wasn't playing. And I think we didn't even know at the end of the show if we were very confident on if one way or the other, if he was playing or not. I saw last week where I think Duke's starting running back was in the transfer portal, had committed to NC State, but was still playing with Duke in their bowl game. Kai Horton, I saw the other day, is in the transfer portal from Tulane. He played in Tulane's bowl game. How difficult is it for you when looking at these bowl games to try to figure out who the heck is even playing in these?
Buddy, it's almost impossible, and especially in college because the teams don't have to release information until right before kickoff. Like, for anyone who, you see in the NFL, you see, practice reports every day, and you see inactives come out an hour and a half before kickoff.
Yeah.
That's for sports betting. Like, that's exactly why they do that. So, you understand exactly who's going to be in it. So, dude, it's made it almost impossible, but I'll tell you what you do is you find other ways to bet these games. And I'll give you a perfect example. BetMGM, you could bet both teams to score X amount of points, and you could, set it wherever you want it. Like, that's a much better way than kind of going old school. I'm not saying don't go point spreads, totals, things like that. But if you're looking for other ways to bet it, something a lot more safe and really not, bad odds at all, look for those ways to do it. It'll save you so much time. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. This Memphis game, I've got both teams to score 20-plus points or more, minus 120, right? Like,
you're looking good now. I mean,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's a much easier and safer way to bet these games.
Yeah. Well, that's I'm gonna have to check that out because you're right. That is a really good way to kind of look at it. I want to start with these bowl games. A big game tonight, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Missouri comes in 10-2 on the season. Ohio State, they are 11-1 on the year. Right now, Ohio State, this line has been moving in their favor. They're a 5.5-point favorite right now. The total sitting at about 50.5. Do you like anything tonight?
Yeah, I'll say this, man. Be careful of Ohio State, of what you're going to get, because what you mentioned, there's players going to the NFL. There's players that I don't know exactly where this locker room is after that loss to Michigan. Now, it's Ohio State. I'm not saying that they ever, fold up shop and don't show up, right? It's Ohio State, and they've got a great defense. That being said, Missouri's fired up to be here. Missouri wants to be here, and they want to win this game. I like Missouri with the points. Wouldn't surprise me if they win the game outright, but again, Ohio State's got a really good defense. Give me Missouri with the points here. They're a better team than people give them credit for.
I like it. Tomorrow, we start early in the day, Ole Miss and Penn State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Anybody here locally can listen to that game right here on Sports 56. Our pregame coverage will start at 9 a.m. But Ole Miss, Penn State, I think both of these teams could really use this bowl game tomorrow, especially with the expanded playoffs going to 12 teams, could use this as a springboard into next season to be a real playoff contender. But right now, Penn State, a 5-point favorite down in Atlanta. That total sitting at about 50.5. What do you like in that one?
Yeah, I like the under in this game. I don't want to pick with a aside with the spread because, man, 5, it's a dangerous number. But Penn State's going to show up with a defense, and Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss are going to show up. They've got a better defense than people give them credit for, too, but they're going to show up, try to put up some points, but also really not try to make a big mistake, right? You've got 2 really good coaches that understand the game, have been around it for a while. I think you're going to see, them kind of feeling each other out a little bit. You know what I mean? So I like the under 50.5 in this game.
I like that. On Monday, New Year's Day, we've got some really fun matchups, including the college football playoff semifinals. But before that, at noon on ABC, Iowa and Tennessee in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. I know how closely you keep up with Tennessee, and now it's Nico time after Joe Milton has opted out of this bowl game. Right now, Tennessee a 6-point favorite. That total in pure Iowa fashion, sitting at 35.5. What do you like on Monday?
Yeah, you know what? I like the over in this game, and I'll tell you why. Iowa's defense, obviously, you can make the case it's the best defense in the country, and they're going to be there. Like, Iowa is showing up in bowl games. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. What they can't do offensively, i.e. score, look, Tennessee's front is decent, but Tennessee's defense, the secondary, not good at all. And what happens with a quarterback making his first ever start, as a freshman, he's going to make mistakes, especially against that defense, and he's going to leave Iowa with short fields. So they'll put up some points, and Tennessee will score on Iowa as well, right? They will put some points as well. So, yeah, man, I like the over 35. Give me that one.
I like it. I like it a lot. That should be fun. I'm excited. I really am excited to see what Nico can do. He's gotten some run here and there, but his first start, will be fun to see what the future holds for the Tennessee quarterback. Well, Alan, since we got you on so late, we need to grab a break. Are you okay hanging with us until the next segment and we just do some more picks till the end of the hour?
My man, of course, buddy. Absolutely.
Alan, you are the best. We're going to grab a quick break. When we come back, we're doing some more handicapping with Alan Bell. That's next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. Schedule your holiday gift deliveries today at hogsfly.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. Five Ash Roofing, the name to know. Five Ash Roofing, the only way to go. Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Five Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
All 650 acquisition fee. Sportage R723 5498. MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424,710. MSRP 33,010. Telluride RG 462822. MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit dealer.com.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month. $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos and enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
The season has changed. You know how I know? It's finally here, the Family Leisure Christmas Sale. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Oh, we're just beginning. Tired and sore from shopping? Check out the huge selection in stock of hot tubs and massage chairs. Oh, and you can surprise the kids with the best stuff, like a new arcade, a game table, even a play gym. Gifts for the whole family to enjoy and enjoy together. Also on sale. Theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. That's Family Leisure of Memphis. Every year we wait. They always deliver. They've done it again. The Family Leisure Christmas Sale is happening at I-40 and Whitten Road. That's 2120 Whitten Road to be exact. That's the place of shopping heaven. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus with you. No Brett, no Johnny. They're out today, but hopefully they'll be back on Tuesday. Alan Bell, we talked to him in our last segment. He's nice enough to stick around. The AB3, go check it out on YouTube. A lot of great sports betting content over there. And Alan, we talked about a lot of these games, but I want to now ask you about these semifinal games Monday. I guess first one in the evening, the second one Monday night. Let's start with that first one. Alabama and Michigan. Right now, Michigan a 2-point favorite. That total sitting about 44.5. It really seems like Alabama is kind of the popular play so far. What do you like in that first one?
Yeah, so all right, so I'll tell you what. All right, there's a couple ways that I like betting this game, okay? First, I like Michigan with the spread. I think Michigan has been the best team in the country all year long. They've dealt with adversity. I mean, Jim Harbaugh's been gone twice, right? They haven't skipped a beat. Look at the last two defenses that they played against, Iowa and Ohio State, arguably the two best defenses in the country with Michigan, right? So I think that Michigan is going to win. I think that they'll cover. Now, if you're looking for another way to bet this game, I talked about earlier, you know, using like point totals and things like that.
Yeah.
You could go to BetMGM right now. You could take Michigan money line, just win the game.
Okay.
And both teams to score 10 points or more at plus 110.
Whoa.
Plus money. Yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, like there are ways to bet these games. So, yeah, take a look at that. But, yeah, Michigan spread, I'm with it.
Yeah, I really like that. And then the second one, Texas and Washington. Right now, Texas a 4-point favorite. That total sitting at 63.5. Obviously, you can see the difference in terms of totals. They think it's going to be a shootout between Texas and Washington. What do you like in that one?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout as well. That's a big number, but you know what? Like, we've seen a lot of points scored through the history of the college football playoffs, so don't be afraid of that. I do like the over, but I like Texas, man. Like, I think Texas is the better overall team, certainly defensively. I think that they're better on the defensive line. I think they're better on the offensive line. But both teams are going to score points, man. Like, Washington is good. Penix is good. We've seen, obviously. But, yeah, give me Texas, man. I think that they handle their business and get the job done for sure.
I think those are going to be two really, really fun games. So you're, I guess, if you're predicting your picks, you've got Michigan and Texas in the national championship game. I haven't heard that very much. It seems to me you're either team Alabama versus Texas in the championship game, or your team Michigan and Washington in the championship game. I haven't seen many differences outside of those two.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I like being different. I like
That's
going
right.
against the public. But no, man, I think Michigan, again, I think they're the best team in the country. I think that they have a grit about them. I think that Jim Harbaugh, if you wanted to embody a team that is Jim Harbaugh, it's this team. They want the fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh wants the fight, and people don't know how to handle people who want to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And their team, dude, they've been through the ringer all year long. They've heard that they're cheaters, that they don't deserve it, blah blah blah. They absolutely are using that as bulletin board material, motivation. Dude, give me Michigan. I think that they handle their business and get the job done. And I'll tell you this. I have the numbers that if Michigan or really all of the national championship game of what that they would be, and Michigan I believe is going to be about a 3-point favorite over Texas if those two teams play. Yeah, man. Give me Michigan in that one.
That would be a lot of fun. Well, Alan, we're running out of time. We didn't get to the NFL, so I'm curious, what are your favorite plays in the NFL this weekend?
I'll tell you what. The best play imaginable is the Dallas Cowboys Saturday against the Lions. Look, the Lions are a great team, but they just clinched. I don't know, exactly how much they're going to be in it. And Dallas, this is the most must-win game of all time. They have to win this at home. Take Dallas here. They're going to put up points like crazy.
I like it. It's my type of language. Anytime anybody picks Dallas, that's, you know me, Alan. You know who I root for. But, Alan, thanks so much for joining us. This is always a ton of fun. Enjoy Happy New Year's. Enjoy the New Year's, and we'll do it again next Friday, all right?
You as well, my friend. Thank you so much, buddy. Have a good one.
Thanks, Alan. Alan Bell, he joins us every single Friday to talk some wagering. Nice enough to stick around for this last segment of our first hour. We're supposed to talk Tigers, but we'll talk Tigers a lot at the end of our next segment, our next hour, I should say. I will give an update. 19-10, the current score. Memphis up. Iowa State has the ball with less than a minute left in the second quarter. But back to Alan. Let me remind everybody, go check out the AB3 on YouTube, the new venture that Alan Bell is kickstarting, and I guess he put it up on YouTube a couple weeks ago, and has really been doing some good things over there. So get over there, check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun, but we need to get to a break, and when we come back, we're talking more wagering with Bruce Marshall. That's next on Sportstime.
Fill your game day cooler with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Smooth, real brewed tea with a 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
Sports 56 listeners are smart enough to listen to Sports 56, and smart enough to get 25% off at Oak Court Salon. Ashley Waddell and Lane Lascola are expert stylists at Oak Court, and because they listen to Sports 56 and you listen to Sports 56, Ashley and Lane are giving you 25% off your first appointment. That's for cuts, color, highlights, balayage, Brazilian blowouts, and split-end treatments. Book today and save 25% at sports56.glossgenius.com.
It's our season of giving back back at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and we've got the perfect holiday gift for you. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Get road-ready SUV Seat 7 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 8-passenger seating in your new 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus, you'll get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE 699,094, MSRP 21,385, Sorrento PG 242,710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462, 2822, MSRP 38,705, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024, dealer stock only.
I know we say it all the time. Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown bar, is not a sports bar. It's a bar that happens to have sports on the high-def TVs. You know what a great bar Bell Tavern is. You know how great the signature cocktails are. You know how amazing the food is. And all that is what makes Bell Tavern such a great bar. But what sports we have on those TVs this month? If you love college basketball, the NFL, the Grizzlies, and college football, well, for this month, you can pretend Bell Tavern is a sports bar. A very civilized sports bar.
Do you have a game plan for COVID-19? Prescription oral treatments must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms, even if mild. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Clearing up this accident over here on 240 westbound at Mount Moriah. People are still staring at it as they drive by. It happened earlier, and they're just now trying to attend to it to get it out of there. It's 240 west at Mount Moriah, finishing at rank 40 westbound at the 240 flyover. That one's been over there in its cleanup stages for quite some time. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders, CBS Sports, and his own website, bamsports.net. With over 30 years on Memphis radio, with handicapping and sports talk, here's Bruce Marshall with Bryant and Brett.
Bruce Marshall joins us now from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and bamsports.net. We're going to talk a ton of wagering, get to a bunch of these really big-time bowl games, college football playoff semifinals, a lot to get to with Bruce, but a quick update. Memphis currently up 19-13 in the final seconds of the second quarter. Tigers looking to try to get into field goal range before the break and maybe tack on a field goal before halftime. But Bruce Marshall does join us now to talk a lot of wagering, and we'll get a lot of picks in. But Bruce, before we get to any of the picks, first off, thanks for joining. But I'm curious for you, as a handicapper who is looking at all of these bowl games and trying to pick as many as he can and get some good value. When you look at the transfer portal opt-outs and how many guys are opting out, but also, I mean, you've got places like last night with Oklahoma, their running back, Tyree Walker, is in the transfer portal but played for Oklahoma. How difficult is it for you to try to figure out which side to play when really everything seems to be in the air from a roster standpoint?
Well, it's a good question, Brian. But the thing that makes it tough is that there's so many different outcomes here. I mean, if all the guys who were in the portal but still played, if there was a go against all them, you know, that would be something that hasn't really been the case. You know, teams that are switching quarterbacks. That's the one thing that's sort of noted to me, is that some of these backup quarterbacks have come in and played very well, and then I think, you know, too often we assume that just because the starter's out, then there's going to be a big drop off. That's not necessarily the case. The rest of the team this is standard stuff in football. And for one game, you can rally, you circle the wagons, you sort of devise a game plan to take the advantage of what the backup can do. Now some of these ones where, like Tennessee, with Joe Milton just, the other day opting out, so they're going to have, Josh has got to get the freshman ready real quick. I'm not sure how that's going to work for Tennessee. Jackson Arnold, Oklahoma last night. I mean, they had known he'd been there for a couple weeks after Gabriel had transferred out, and he had some moments, but he also made a lot of mistakes. Yeah. But I guess the bottom line, to answer your question, Brian, is there's just not, even though there's a lot of these different scenarios, there's not a pattern other than inconsistency. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What teams show up, what teams don't. One thing I'm a little watching here, some of these teams, I'm not sure how many more are left, like Oregon State, but they just were not ready to play today, this game against Notre Dame. There's been a lot of disruption at Oregon State with guys transferring out and coaching staff turnover. In that case, they just weren't ready to play today, and they have paid the price against Notre Dame.
I know a lot of people here, I've heard it, both locally and nationally, I've been talking about, not even from a gambling standpoint, but just watching these games, of how frustrating it is. You're watching these games and it's the fourth string quarterback, or, you've got an offensive line where it's all backups. And a lot of people have been trying to say we need to change the schedule, the calendar, and try to put limitations on when people can enter the portal. What do you think of that idea? And is there a way, I guess a logical way, to set it up some way where we could have mostly full teams for these bowl games?
Push the portal back till after the bowls. That's one, and that may require pushing the entire recruiting calendar back a few weeks. But so what? Do it. I mean, this is not optimal right now. I mean, my other radical thought is that these bowl games should be played in week 0. And so what? I mean, if you at the end of the season, and all these guys opting out anyway, we're going to have an expanded playoff. Play these things in week 0, and you have a whole summer to get ready. You want not going to have anybody opting out, and just make that the bowl week instead. It would be a complete change. But I think that's something they're going to have to start looking at maybe. But the bottom line is, most of these games, O'Brien, when you're watching them, and we try to block out all the noise and all the portal stuff and the nil and the coaching changes and some of these other ridiculous things. The action has generally been pretty good. Yeah. And it's still compelling stuff to watch. And by the way, the Tigers did kick a field goal right before halftime, 22-13 Memphis at the break down at the Liberty Bowl.
Love it. That's what we like to hear. But no, you're right. It has been some good games. And I think you mentioned it earlier with a lot of these young players and young quarterbacks. You're seeing these guys kind of realize, hey, this is my opportunity, and they're trying to take the most of it. Well, Bruce, let's get to some of these games and get some picks from you. I want to start off tonight in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, Missouri and Ohio State. This is a very interesting one. A lot of people have been pointing to Ohio State, their quarterback. It was in the transfer portal, and Kyle McCord, he's now landed at Syracuse. There's some opt-outs, but Ohio State continues to push as the favorite. I think earlier it might have been at 3.5, 4.5. Now it's up to 5.5. Ohio State minus 5.5. That total sitting at 50.5. What do you like in the Cotton Bowl tonight?
Yeah, and Marvin Harrison hasn't opted out, but there's thought he's not going to play much tonight, and we've seen that too from some of these players who are high profile who might be there, but you may not see too much of them tonight. It's worth noting that Devin Brown this was a real quarterback race at Ohio State until almost right up to the beginning of the regular season, and then Ryan Day opted for McCord. But it was sort of 1A, 1B all through fall camp there, and it looked like, Brown could be in there. So I'm not sure there's going to be that much of a drop-off for Ohio State. But Missouri's very interesting. By the way, some interesting history in this series. They've played 12 times. Missouri has only beaten Ohio State once, but that was a memorable game back in 1976 in an era in which Missouri was beating a lot of highly ranked teams in major upsets all the way from Columbia, Nebraska a couple times, Notre Dame, a major upset in 72. Alabama opening night 75, USC opening night 76. Both of those games were the only games that Alabama and USC lost that year. And after beating SC, losing to Illinois the next week with their quarterback, Steve Pisarko, it's knocked out. Missouri goes up to Columbus and stuns the Buckeyes 22-21 behind their backup quarterback, Pete Woods, and scoring the winning TD and two-point conversion, which, by the way, came after a Ohio State penalty in the first two-point conversion try. Woods ran it in with just 12 seconds left. 22-21, Woody Hayes was going nuts. Anyway, just thought I would get that in because I sort of like Mizzou. And we heard before the season, when I was with Brett in Nashville at SEC Media Days, how Eli had talked about Brady Cook was throwing with a sore shoulder last year. And he said, look, if his shoulder's right, he's going to put up a lot better numbers this year. And darn if he wasn't correct. I love the balance on this offense with Schrader and Luther Burden, who's the closest thing in college football to Deebo Samuel. And he may have that sort of impact in the NFL, too. I think Mizzou can win this game, but I don't think Brown's going to be that bad for Ohio State, which might be hurt more if Harrison doesn't play. But I think there's going to be some points scored here tonight. So I'd look a little bit over and a little bit to Missouri in this game down in Big D tonight.
I like it. That should be a really fun one tonight, 7 o'clock on ESPN locally here in Memphis. Tomorrow, really we get a good taste of it tonight with that Cotton Bowl game, but we get some really fun games tomorrow and then spilling over into Monday. But 11 a.m. tomorrow morning on ESPN, Ole Miss versus Penn State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Right now, Penn State a 5-point favorite. That total sitting at 50.5. Brett Norsworthy is down there with Ole Miss. He'll be on cover. He'll be covering it pregame and postgame tomorrow on this station. But Bruce, what do you like tomorrow in the Peach Bowl?
I like Ole Miss, although we have to acknowledge Penn State's been a really good point spread team since the middle of last year. They've only dropped 3 spread decisions. A lot of that, though, against that Flotsam in the Big Ten, and they also caught Utah after the quarterback Rising got hurt very early in the Rose Bowl last January 1, or I think Penn State might have lost that game. Nonetheless, they have had some success. What I don't like about Penn State is the quarterback, Drew Aller, check down after check down after check down after check down, dump off, dump off, dump off. He just does not throw the ball downfield. And that brings up the interesting thing here, because the two strengths as we see it in this game, Penn State's defense, which is very good, though they have a couple of guys who have opted out, and Ole Miss's offense with Lane and Dart and running the ball at Jenkins and all that. So I think this is going to be, in Judkins, this is going to be a very good matchup there, but it's probably going to be decided by the other platoons. What's Penn State going to be able to do with Aller against Ole Miss's defense? And there, I think Ole Miss has the edge, because I do not trust Aller to do anything against a decent defense. And Penn State, again, the Big Ten this year, so many pedestrian teams. And they lost, the 2 games that really meant something to them this year. They lose to the Buckeyes again. They lose to Michigan again. So I think Ole Miss gets them. I take them plus the points. This might be maybe even a money line spot here.
Wow.
For the Rebels. 24-17 Ole Miss. I think Lane gets James Franklin tomorrow. So that's a strong vote for the Rebels.
Wow, that would be huge. And I think really for both of these teams, whoever wins with the expanded playoffs next year, and especially with what Ole Miss has done in the portal, this could be a great springboard opportunity into next season and be a real playoff consideration team. I mean, that could be a really good Ole Miss team next year, especially with what they've done in the portal.
Yeah, I mean, I think both these teams are probably in the top 10 into next year.
Wow.
And the winner of this game might even be in the top 5. But I think, both these teams, preseason polls, I think we'll see them both in the top 10, like you say. And, Lane has been cleaning up in the portal once again, so good for him.
Yeah, he really has. Monday morning, 11 a.m. on ESPN2, Wisconsin and LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl. Right now, LSU a double-digit favorite, 10-point favorite against Wisconsin. The total at 55.5. Do you like anything in this one?
Yeah, well, I mean, LSU's got that over thing going, about 18-2 over, so maybe that, although obviously, Jaden Daniels ain't going to play in this game, and that can't be a plus. Although, Garrett Nussmeier, there was a point when that was a real quarterback derby down there, and they thought Nussmeier might actually, beat him out at some point last year. And Nussmeier's played a little bit, and they think they can run the offense with him. Whether they can have that same dynamism they had with Daniels remains to be seen. Wisconsin's a curious case because they battled a lot of injuries this year, including a quarterback Mordecai, that's the transfer from SMU, he wasn't really functioning as well in that offense, and he broke his finger and he was out. So they just never quite fired for Luke Fickell the way they thought or ignited. But nonetheless, this number looks a little rich to me. And without Daniels there, it's not the normal LSU. And I don't think you're going to see Wisconsin roll over the way Purdue did last year. They were in the middle of a coaching change and a bunch of guys opting out, including the guy who's quarterbacking for the Raiders right now. So I don't think it's going to be nearly as easy for LSU. I think they win, maybe not cover. And but because they've been going over so much, I guess I have to recommend it over. So 34-27 LSU, and over, just for over's sake, vote there. But I'm not sure I'd want to lay 10 points here.
Yeah, it's a big number. Later in the day on Monday, Iowa and Tennessee. I know a lot of people here locally are excited for that one in the Citrus Bowl. You mentioned it earlier. The freshman Nico is going to get the start for Tennessee after Joe Milton opted out of this bowl game. Right now, Tennessee a 6-point favorite over Iowa, but the line's sitting at 35.5. What do you like in that one, Bruce?
I changed my thinking on this because Milton's out, and this is a tough way for the freshman to come in there. I know they like him a lot. He's 6'6", and he can he can do a lot of different things. They think, but I mean, to have to go up against this defense in his first test, I mean that's going to be pretty tough, and that's why I'm starting to think maybe another under for Iowa. Iamalavea, Nico. I mean, it's what a tough test for him to start off. Iowa caught a break last year. They hit Kentucky without Will Levis in the bowl, and they shut the Wildcats out. So this I think becomes another over possibility here. Tennessee is best advised to get ahead in this game and try to make Iowa play from behind. I'm just not sure they're going to be able to do it. And this looks like, Iowa was going under games with totals in the mid-20s by the end of the season. And with that defense rock-ribbed as it is, and now a new quarterback for Tennessee, I'm not sure this is going to get much faster paced. I would not have said that if Milton was playing. In fact, I would have liked Tennessee a lot more. This is the sort of team, I think, that really would have helped out the veteran quarterback just to get the lead, because everything changes against Iowa when you can get the lead on them. And it's going to be kind of tough. Tennessee probably wins, but I think lower scoring, that under thing may work again for Iowa, as it has, 10 of 12 times this season.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch all of these games, like you said, in the mid-20s, still going under for Iowa this year. That'd be great if they could do it in a bowl game against Tennessee. All right, Bruce, we've gotten through a lot of the bowl games, but now I want your thoughts on the semifinal games Monday afternoon. Let's start off with Alabama and Michigan. Michigan, a 2-point favorite, that total sitting at about 44.5. What do you like in the first semifinal game?
I like Alabama a lot. I think it probably goes over, too. Everything about Michigan's defense, this is the same sort of argument we heard last weekend, Brian, about the James Madison Air Force game down in Fort Worth. James Madison had, this great rush defense, 62 yards per game. Air Force ain't going to be able to run against them. That was complete balderdash because first of all, James Madison's playing against teams that are playing from behind all year. There's nobody that really runs the ball in the Sun Belt. They certainly never saw anything like Air Force. And Air Force ran up a storm with 351 and won that game handily. So the same thing here. Michigan, all these defensive numbers, they mean very little because that schedule this year, especially versus the bulk of the Big Ten and even Penn State and Ohio State being well down, potency-wise at least from last season, their defensive numbers don't just mean all that much in this spot here. They haven't faced this much speed. And, oh, by the way, the last 2 years in the playoff, they've allowed 34 to Georgia and 51 last year. That's 85 points the last two playoff games, and they certainly weren't slowing down TCU at all in that game last year. I think Bama moves the ball pretty well. I like what Milroe has done. I like the fact that they were able to pull out some close games. Michigan has played through these distractions very well with Harbaugh. He missed half the season, I guess, this year. But at some point, this might catch up to Michigan. There's just too much going on there. There's investigations going on out of the program. These rumors about Harbaugh to the NFL just do not stop. It might happen. And I think it just all catches up to Michigan here. And Bama wins this thing. So I'd like Bama outright. I might look at over as well, 31-23 Bama, my score forecast. But I think we're getting the Tide a week from Monday in Houston in the final.
Wow, that would be a lot of fun. A good story, certainly for Nick Saban and his team. All right, well, the second game of the day, Texas and Washington at the Sugar Bowl. Texas right now a 4-point favorite. That total 63.5. Who do you have meeting up with Alabama in the championship?
Much as I like Washington and everything that Kalen DeBoer's done up there, and they beat these guys, Texas, in the Alamo Bowl last year, one of 20 straight wins for Washington. You don't get that on looks alone. You have to do something to win. But they did cut it pretty close since they beat up Cal late in September. They haven't won a game by every win has been single digits for them. Not that that's bad. I don't mind a team winning games close, but the defense bent this year. I mean, I watched them a game against USC. It was just like a ping pong match. They ended up making enough plays barely to win that and some other games. But that's what the complaint from a lot of the people up there this year about Washington, if there was a complaint, was they didn't think this was a good tackling defense. And at some point, that to me seemed like it would kind of haunt the Huskies, even though Penix is so good and they can run the ball. Dylan Johnson, too, now. This is going to be hard to stave off Texas here, which I think was playing as good as anybody in the country at the end of the year. Sarkisian against his old team, by the way. By the way, this whole Final Four has got a Sarkisian feel because he had been at Alabama, too. But the way they ran the ball after Brooks got hurt, Quinn Ewers, his improvement this year in that defense, able to make big plays. I mean, they were just on fire at the end there against Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. I think Texas gets them, but maybe higher scoring, 38-31. And I think we're going to get a Texas-Bama rematch a week from Monday in Houston.
Wow, that would be a lot of fun. A rematch, I think that would get a lot of eyeballs for the national championship if we could get Alabama and Texas again. We're talking to Bruce Marshall. He joins us every single Friday to talk some wagering from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. I want to get to some NFL games before we let you go, Bruce. I want to start off with Saturday night. Lions and my Dallas Cowboys. Right now, Dallas at home, a 5.5-point favorite. That total at 51.5. What do you like in the Saturday night game?
I think Dallas gets them here because it's in Arlington, and obviously that makes an enormous amount of difference to the Cowboys this year, an enormous amount. Maybe an over. I mean, Dallas has scored almost 40 per game at home. They are not the same team on the road. And most of those teams they've been able to beat up at home have been in there in some form of distress. Or I know they did hammer the Eagles, but even the Eagles, they were off that route from the 49ers. This might be tougher. Detroit, though, did so up the north last week. They are still in the frame to get the bye in the NFC if the Niners can lose one of these last two and the Lions keep winning. But something tells me this is just the sort of spot Dallas will score a lot of points and win. It may not be easy, but I do think they cleared that low 50s total as well. 34-26 Dallas, my score forecast there. And it's just that home thing. I mean, you got to respect that at some point. I mean, they haven't lost at home. The only non-cover was that game against Seattle. They won by 6. So I think I'll lean with that angle on tomorrow night.
I like it. Sunday, big game at noon, Dolphins and Ravens. Ravens coming off a big victory over the 49ers. Dolphins coming off a big victory over the Cowboys last week. Baltimore right now a 3.5-point favorite at home. That total set at 46.5. What do you like in that one?
Well, Miami did get them there early last year, and sort of an early indicator of what might happen this year, though we didn't see that all last year from Miami, except in that game at Baltimore. Mostert, watch his status here. I want to make sure he plays. If Miami's going to have a better chance. Waddle is going to be out, it looks like. But I can't help but think the Dolphins, and we might have talked about this last week, they're sort of the AFC equivalent of Dallas. They can really run up a score and hammer somebody, but get them away from South Florida there. I mean, they've had their problems. They got whipped at Buffalo. They got whipped at Philadelphia. They lost that game in Germany to the Chiefs. They have been more beatable on the road. And I think Baltimore just looked almost kind of flawless the other night against the 49ers. That sort of effort and that defense, I think, is something that can slow down Miami. So I'm leaning to the Ravens in this one on Sunday. And this would sew up top seed in the AFC and would put the Dolphins in a little jeopardy in the East if the Bills can beat the Patriots. That would set up a showdown for the division title the following week down at Hard Rock.
Is there any other games in the NFL this weekend? A big slate on Sunday with no Monday Night Football. Anything else you like in the NFL this weekend?
I think the Giants are kind of interesting with Tyrod Taylor in the lineup. They have obviously not quit, even though they're out of the playoff mix. But his presence there, I mean, they have covered games against Buffalo and Philadelphia with him, and he was only in there the second half last week. I know the Rams have been on a pretty nice roll here, but this is the NFL. There's a yin and yang to this stuff. I think the locker room, I mean, the DeVito was a nice story, but getting Tyrod back in there is really a plus. So I think the Giants have a shot on an upset here. Certainly plus the 5.5 or 6. I would give them a look. I would give Pittsburgh a look with Mason Rudolph in there. I think he was the answer, certainly over Trubisky. I thought. I don't know why they've done this with Trubisky the last 2 years, but he certainly proved that last Saturday. Seattle, when it wins very close usually. So this is a close game, and Pittsburgh is right in the middle of the playoff hunt, as is Seattle. Close, 3.5 could make a difference there. And I also think the Bengals are worth a look against the Chiefs. I think there's some real problems in Kansas City internally, as we've all heard in the last week. They played 4 times the last 2 years, each game decided by 3. I know those were Joe Burrow games, but since he won 3 of those, and they got burned by some really big plays from Pickens last week, this defense is still pretty tough for Cincinnati. Give them 7.5 points or so. I will take the Bengals. The Chiefs are on the ropes.
Wow, I like that. Some really good plays for the weekend in the NFL. Bruce, before we let you go, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Check me out online at VegasInsider.com. We have got all my picks, NFL, college football, the Bulls, college hoops, NBA, NHL. It's all up there. Having a good week at VegasInsider.com. You can read my stuff, too, and see more picks at CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com. Once in a while up there on HQ. I'm also on a podcast with Jimmy Ott down there in Baton Rouge. It's on the Bet Rivers Network, and they call it Sports Bettor's Paradise.
Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. Happy New Year to you and your family, and we'll do this again next Friday.
Happy New Year, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce. Bruce Marshall, he joins us every single week to talk some wagering and a lot of really good plays in the NFL, also some good bowl games for the weekend. Well, before we get to a break, it's the weekend. We finally made it to the weekend. Not only the weekend, kind of a long weekend with New Year's Day on Monday. I know you might be looking for a night out, maybe a New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, looking for a nice place to go and grab dinner. Well, let me point you into the direction of 117 Prime, located at 117 Union Avenue, opening 4 p.m. daily. 117 Prime offers perfect steaks cooked to your liking over hickory wood for the best flavor in town. And their meat, it's regionally sourced for the best taste, so you don't have to worry about it traveling cross-country like some of these other steakhouses. Pair your steak with a wine from their award-winning wine menu, or switch it up with their wine of the month. Not a fan of beef? No problem. 117 Prime also offers outstanding seafood like oyster, shrimp, and lobster. Also, get down there right now and enjoy their happy hour from 4 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday, for the best happy hour that downtown Memphis has to offer. To make reservations, head over to 117prime.com or give them a call, 901-433-9851. That's 901-433-9851 for 117 Prime. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking Razorbacks with Ty Richardson.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
You ready to end the year with some money in your pocket? We got it covered at Gossett Mitsubishi's Mitsubishi Motors year-end sales event. Get to the Pike for the award-winning 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. 420 total range MPGE, $299 a month. Get ready for your road trip in the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Buy for $27,000 or just $399 a month. And cool has never been cooler than in a 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. We Gossett at $30,700 or $499 a month. And no worries with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today at 1870 Covington Pike. Gift wrapping available. You want it, we Gossett. Shop online anytime at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
PHEV PZO 62303 MSRP 44,355 Sport RU 001136 MSRP 28,000 Eclipse RZO 12051 MSRP 31,700 includes all rebates and incentives PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Join Malco Theaters December 30th for the ultimate Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl experience as Ole Miss takes on Penn State. Buy your tickets today at Malco.com. It's the perfect holiday gift for your football-loving family and friends.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. They're wrapping up a couple of wrecks out here a little bit earlier. Traffic saw the increase at times 240 coming eastbound from Perkins all the way to Bill Morris Parkway. Still looks pretty good now. And Bill Morris, as you continue out towards Collierville, headed south of Memphis, not bad. On 55 down through South Haven. As you continue all the way down into DeSoto County. Again, lots of radar out here. Be careful. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis called Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online. It's easy. It's tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Time to talk Razorbacks on Sportstime. Joining the guys is Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas to talk all things Hogs and SEC. On Twitter X at Ty Sports Radio, here's Ty Richardson with Bryant and Brett.
Come on, all you Razorback fans, let's stand up and call those Hogs!
Ty Richardson joins us now from ESPN Arkansas to talk the Razorbacks and talk the SEC. A lot to get to today, both Arkansas football news, basketball news, of course, and also I want to get Ty's picks on the college football playoff semifinal. So Ty joins us now. Ty, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to, but I want to start off with the Arkansas football team. And news came out a couple days ago that Wisconsin has hired Arkansas's wide receiver coach, Kenny Guyton. This seems like a guy that the players really liked, really rallied around. What did you make of this news, and where does Arkansas go from here looking for a new wide receiver coach?
Right, it's a great question. I think starting with Kenny Guyton, there were several players that are currently still on this roster that are disappointed that he is leaving, and they just got to move on at this point. And where they go from there potentially is up to, of course, Sam Pittman. Bobby Petrino's going to have to say. A lot of people pointed to former quarterbacks coach Garrett McGee, who's currently the wide receiver coach at Louisville, who I'm sure Memphis fans are familiar with. So I don't know if there's a mutual interest there, but that's where a lot of Arkansas fans pointed to. Have no clue if there's any realm of possibility of that happening.
Yeah, what you think? I mean, with the offense that you would hope to get next year, with bringing in a new offensive coordinator and trying to get some offensive-minded guys, new offensive-minded guys in there, you'd think there'd be a lot of maybe younger guys out there that you could go out, maybe bright young coaching minds that you could go out there and fill this. So I think there might be a lot of options out there for Arkansas.
That's the hope. I mean, wide receiver coaches are essential because you got to be able to recruit. I think about Brian Hartline at Ohio State, who's probably the best in the country at that said coaching position. I mean, continuously Ohio State either has the best or one of the top 3 wide receivers in all of college football. Mm-hmm. And I think how valuable he's been to Ryan Day, and I think he was there previously under Urban Meyer. So I'm really excited to see who Arkansas hires, and hopefully it pays off for him.
Well, looking at this roster right now, we talked a lot last week about signing day and some of the guys that Arkansas was bringing in. They landed a quarterback, Taylon Green, in the transfer portal a couple weeks ago. We've talked about that. But at running back, you lose Rocket Sanders. He's now at South Carolina. Where does Arkansas go from here? Is there a guy on the roster that you look at and think can take over, or do you think it's going to be somebody in the transfer portal that they try to go out and get to come in and be their featured back?
Brian, I would have loved to tell you that Trevor Etienne had decided to go to Fayetteville instead of Athens, but that was not the case. No, there's a couple guys on the roster you like if you're an Arkansas fan. Rashad Davinian's had flashes. We saw a little bit more of Isaiah Augusta, the untrue freshman from Naples, in his freshman season. Dominic Johnson's been there a while. At one point was their number 1 back, but you've got to add at least one person. I think they had 2 running backs that they ended up signing, or at least one. I know, maybe 2. But you probably still have to go get someone out of the portal to really solidify that position, especially with the injuries they suffered there last year.
Absolutely. Well, looking at this roster right now for football, I know still very early. We're still playing bowl games, and we haven't even had the national championship yet. But when you look at what they've done recruiting in the transfer portal already, what they're losing, what they're bringing back, what are the biggest holes when you look at this roster going into next season? I know when you look at the season that Arkansas just finished, you're probably saying there's holes all over the place. The entire team is a hole. But what are some specific position groups or things that you want to see changed going into next season?
Got to start with the offensive line, Brian. It's the worst Sam Pittman's ever had, not just as the head coach, but as the offensive line coach at Arkansas. And if you build on that, and assuming your other position groups or don't get just dramatically worse, you're going to have a bowl participant football team.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to get to 8 regular season wins, but they'll have a bowl team because the offensive line probably single-handedly lost them 4 games last year. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I can't 100% tell you they'd be 8-4, and if they had a better offensive line last season, but they would have at least made a bowl. And I think that's just kind of what Arkansas fans are hoping for next year. That has to change, otherwise Sam Pittman's no longer going to be the head football coach here in Fayetteville.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, looking around the country with the bowls going on, a lot of bowl games this weekend involving SEC schools, maybe outside of the college football playoffs. Which one of these big bowl games involving an SEC team that you have circled on your calendar of that game's going to be fun? I'm excited to watch that one.
I'm going to take the awkward stance here, Brian, and I have hated bowl season this year. I have been very, very disappointed. I have not watched a full game, much less a full quarter, and I'm not going to these next couple of days until Monday when the college football playoffs semifinals take place. I think that NIL, transfer portal,
there you are. We lost you there for a second, Ty. You got us?
Oh, yeah, I'm there. I think it's going to be diminished even more, Brian, next year when they expand to 12 teams.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and I think that's a good answer. I've heard that from a lot of people since the bowl games have started. I mean, it's almost impossible to watch. One of the show I produced for earlier in the day, Johnny Radio, me and him have been talking about it all week, of the fact he is a big sports gambler, and he loves gambling on all these bowl games. And it's this weird situation where you're having to double, triple check and see who's even playing. And I remember yesterday, me and him were talking about about the Oklahoma and Arizona bowl game, and he came in and said, this running back isn't playing, and I went on and looked online. I said, actually, John, I think he is playing, and we had to dig, and we still couldn't even figure out. We knew he had been practicing, but it was unclear if he was actually going to play or not. It's a mess when you look at the way it is, because it's not just players opting out and transferring. You have some guys that have entered the transfer portal and have found a landing spot. I think it was Duke a couple weekends ago that their running back he intends to transfer to NC State, but he still played for Duke in the bowl game. What do you see as a way to kind of combat this? Is there a way that college football can combat this and make these bowl games mean something again?
I think it's going to be really difficult too, and I hate it, but that looks like we're headed to. I think about the game tonight, Brian. You just kind of referring to don't know if the guy's going to play or not. They have not mentioned Marvin Harrison, his status for tonight's game in the Cotton Bowl against Missouri. You have no idea at all if the best wide receiver of college football is suiting up, because Ryan Days kept it tight. Marvin Harrison has announced on social media. And it's basically like he had practice this week, but you just don't know. And I think it's a frustrating. And unfortunately, like I kind of started the question with, I don't see us getting better anytime soon. I can't see it reverting, to be honest.
It'd be tough. Well, the college football playoff semifinals also this weekend, and hopefully, there are a couple of guys that have entered the transfer portal on those teams, but mostly these teams are intact. What do you think about these two semifinal games on Monday, Michigan, Alabama, and then the second game, Texas and Washington?
Brian, I've got Alabama winning a really close game against Michigan. I think it's going to be a great game. And then I've got Texas, unfortunately, beating Washington. I would rather see Michigan and Texas because I think that's a huge draw. Actually, I'd rather see Michigan and Washington because I love Michael Penix, and I do want to see. I'm sick of seeing Alabama, but I think ultimately it's going to be Texas and Alabama. Texas, I can see winning by 2 touchdowns. I think it's going to be a lot closer game between Alabama and Michigan with the Crimson Tide coming out, and I think Alabama's going to blow the doors off Texas in the national championship game. Not this Monday, but the following Monday night.
Well, that'd be a lot of fun. Getting that rematch of Alabama and Texas, I think a lot of people would be intrigued by that. And I've noticed it seems like of all the people we've talked to this week, I've been asking a lot of people their picks of these semifinal games, and it seems like I don't think I've gotten a Alabama versus Washington or a Michigan versus Texas. You're either an Alabama-Texas or you're a Michigan-Washington. There's not much in between.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be much distinction, and I do like that you've got a Heisman Trophy finalist and Michael Penix up there, Milroe, who has one of the best stories in college football. Yeah. I can't believe I'm saying that about an Alabama player, but we are. Of course, stories with Michigan and the other, and the fact that Texas is back. Even if they lose against Washington, against the Heisman Trophy finalists, or they lose in the national championship, the team's back. Now, are they going to immediately win or get to the SEC title game next year? I don't know, but I hate saying it, but the Longhorns are indeed back, right?
Yeah, they really are, and it would also be a great preview if we got Alabama, Texas, a great preview for the SEC next year with, like you mentioned, Texas joining the SEC. We're talking to Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas. He covers the Razorbacks. He also talks SEC with us. I want to go over to the basketball side for Arkansas. They've got UNC Wilmington this week, and a UNC Wilmington that beat Kentucky earlier this season in Lexington, a big win for them. What do you expect to see in this matchup between Arkansas and Wilmington?
Yeah, Wilmington, like you said, is a good basketball team. They got a road win in Rupp, which is virtually impossible due to a mid-major program, but they did it. I expect Arkansas to be battle-tested into the final whistle. This is going to be a dogfight tomorrow. If Arkansas doesn't show up, they'll lose the basketball game. Alabama, both teams would have good losses per se. Yeah. Alabama's non-conference schedule has just been brutal, but it is going to be a good game. That's the only bad thing about this trip to Chicago, Brian. I apologize to Memphis Radio if you hear some good calls over a Friday night's conversation, but then I'm not going to actually see that game in person tomorrow because that's the game I actually want to watch in person in Bud Walton Arena.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really fun game. And Keon Minifield, he's played a couple games now since being granted eligibility because of everything that's going on with the NCAA. What have you noticed of his play? What has he meant for this lineup at Arkansas? And in terms of best player on the team, where would you slot him in terms of productivity right now?
He is going to be the primary ball handler, I think, moving forward, Bryant. And he's going to have some turnovers. Again, kid's about to be a true sophomore, or he is a true sophomore. So he hasn't played a ton of college basketball relative to his peers. So there's going to be some ups. There's going to be some downs. And I'm excited to see the ups. And I'm probably going to be throwing stuff when I see the downs. But I think he's going to play an instrumental role if Arkansas is going to kind of navigate through conference play to another NCAA tournament bid.
So with conference play about to start, SEC play, a really good SEC conference, I think, this year with South Carolina's much improved. Ole Miss is still undefeated. I think you got some really good teams. What is your biggest concern with this team going into a loaded conference schedule?
I think it's their defense. I mean, Moss's last four teams, his first four teams at Arkansas, their offense wasn't necessarily clicking at this point, but their defense, I felt like, was a lot further along. This year's team doesn't have the same size and length that maybe he's been accustomed to the last 3 years. So I think that's an area that I think is frustrating for him. They're not getting the steals that he wants, and they're just going to have to figure it out, because if they don't, they're going to be sitting home in March or going to the NIT, which no one gives a you-know-what about.
Right. I was reading something, I think yesterday, about this Arkansas basketball team, and somebody was talking about the issues in the front court and specifically at the 5 position, and you mentioned defensively. What has been the reason that Muss hasn't really looked to a guy like freshman Bay Fall? Is he just too raw to put out there? I mean, you would think in some of these non-conference games you would be able to give him a little more run. Kind of came in as a shot blocker and does some really good things defensively, very long. What has been the reason that his minutes have been limited?
He's too small, Brian. He played a little bit in the Duke game, and I think they scored either a bucket or 2 buckets on him, just kind of overpowering him. He's got some weight to put on, as most freshmen do. It's very rare that true freshmen can just come in and not just have immediate impact, but dominate. I think for Bay, I mean, the potential's there. He's 6'11". He can shoot it. He has the ability to rebound, but he's just got to put on weight. He's a skinny kid, and he's got to start eating more cheeseburgers and get that weight room, baby.
That's right. They'll get that weight on them. I know that for sure. But UNC Wilmington tomorrow, and then conference play starts. Auburn, at Georgia, at Florida, home against Texas A&M, those first 4 games in conference. So it won't be easy for Arkansas, but hopefully they can end the year with a win tomorrow at Bud Walton. Well, Ty, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time. Safe travels. Happy New Year, and we'll do it again next week.
Brian, always love to join you guys. In fact, next year, I might add.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Ty. Ty Richardson joins us every single Friday to talk Arkansas football, Arkansas basketball. We like to talk a lot of SEC with him as well. Always a good time with Ty. And that's going to be a fun game tomorrow. I mean, UNC Wilmington ran some really good things. They had some really good offense when they played Kentucky and really made it difficult for the Wildcats, a young team up in Kentucky. So it should be a fun game tomorrow at Bud Walton. That game at 4 o'clock tomorrow. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The season has changed. You know how I know? It's finally here, the Family Leisure Christmas Sale. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Oh, we're just beginning. Tired and sore from shopping? Check out the huge selection in stock of hot tubs and massage chairs. Oh, and you can surprise the kids with the best stuff, like a new arcade, a game table, even a play gym. Gifts for the whole family to enjoy and enjoy together. Also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. That's Family Leisure of Memphis. Every year we wait. They always deliver. They've done it again. The Family Leisure Christmas Sale is happening at I-40 and Whitten Road. That's 2120 Whitten Road to be exact. That's the place of shopping heaven. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Grapevine Liquor and Wine has the largest selection of bourbon in North Mississippi and wines from all over the world. Let Jimmy the Delta Boy help you select the perfect spirit or wine to impress. Whether you're looking for the best price or a certain flavor profile, Grapevine Liquor and Wines has it. If you want good southern treatment and the hottest prices, Grapevine Liquor and Wine, Getwell Road, South Haven.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, where do you get your bourbon? Flim flam, bim bam, Grapevine, by damn.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 4244710 MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
Merry Christmas from Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. We're here to make your holiday season extra cozy and cheerful. For the first 50 customers who purchase a new Carrier system or tankless water heater, we have a special gift for you. Choose from a free 75-inch smart TV, a PlayStation 5, an Xbox X, a Nintendo Switch, or a $500 gift card on us. It's our way of spreading holiday joy. But hurry, this festive offer will only last through December 24th. Enjoy a comfortable Christmas and a special present from Choate's. Because when you choose us, you're not just a customer, you're family. Schedule your free estimate today at 901-347-8086. Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Let our family serve your family this holiday season. Wishing you a warm and joyful Christmas from Choate's.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus with you. No Brett, no Johnny. A one-man band today. Brett in Atlanta for the Peach Bowl tomorrow. You can hear complete coverage of the Peach Bowl. Ole Miss versus Penn State pregame starting at 9 a.m. and that game kicking off at 11. So he's down there in Atlanta. Johnny, unfortunately, it's his birthday. So happy birthday if he's listening to Johnny Hill. But he, unfortunately, is a little bit under the weather, a little sick, so he could not make it in today. So a one-man band. I know I said we were going to do big number of the day, and so I'll just make it simple. My big number today is 36. That is how many points Memphis Tiger football team has right now in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl against Iowa State. 36 points. Iowa State with 13, so 36-13 your score right now as Iowa State has the ball and just connected on a big throw and catch. So they are now, I believe, in the red zone, or at least close to the red zone, so they could be close to putting some points on the board. But less than 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Tigers with a big lead. We talked about it earlier. I don't think anybody really expected the Tigers to come out and do this. They were a 10.5-point underdog going in, and everybody talked about, well, you're missing offensive linemen. Iowa State comes in. They're young. They're hungry. They've got a great run game, and it has really been nothing close to that today. For the Memphis Tigers, Seth Hennigan already, not even through 3 quarters yet, 282 yards, 4 touchdowns and 0 interception. That's what we talk about. The A-plus game you needed from Seth Hennigan, you are getting today. He's completely locked in. 18 for 23 completions. An unbelievable game for him. Demir Blankensee still leads the team in receiving yards with 76 yards. He has a touchdown. Joe Skates has a touchdown. Sutton Smith has a touchdown. That just happened very recently. I think while we were talking to Ty, that touchdown happened, and it really was just kind of a dump-off pass from Seth Hennigan. He had Sutton Smith kind of in the flats and hit him kind of over the middle, and Sutton Smith made a play and got into the end zone. A big-time catch for him. And then Anthony Lamphere, the tight end, also has a touchdown on 18 yards receiving. The run game has also looked good, 18 yards and a touchdown. I mentioned earlier Seth Hennigan had the touchdown on the ground, but Blake Watson close to 100 yards rushing, no doubt in my mind. With all the time left, he'll get over 100 yards rushing in his final collegiate game. He's got 98 on 10 carries. On the other side, this Memphis defense, they lose their defensive coordinator. He goes down to Mississippi State and is now going to be the defensive backs coach. But this defense came to play today. I don't know what it was, if they've just heard all the noise all since the last game of, this defense has been really bad. They're going to, go up against a Power 5 opponent. This defense is playing extremely well. Iowa State has just had to throw the ball because the run game, they are getting absolutely nothing. 0 yards on the ground. Yes, correct. 0 yards on 19 carries. Their starting running back, Sama, he has 4 yards on 11 carries, and Rocco Beck, their quarterback, has -4 yards on 8 carries. So his defense is playing extremely well right now. And the Tigers a 36-20. So that means Iowa State just found the end zone. So 36-20, a 16-point lead for the Tigers. They are rolling there. Tomorrow, Tiger basketball in action against Austin Peay. A big game for Penny Hardaway. A lot of people are saying, big game? What do you mean against Austin Peay? Well, it is the last game for the Tigers before they start conference play. So a nice tune-up game, kind of get everything figured out before you start conference play. I know a lot of people excited for the new year, and I'm sure the Tigers are also excited to get this conference slate started. We've got tickets for Memphis and Austin Peay. If you want those tickets, text in. I need your name, I need your phone number, I need your email address, and I need to know you're going, and we'll pick a texter, 901-360-8255, 2 tickets to Memphis versus Austin Peay tomorrow night, 6 p.m., your last chance in 2023 to see the Memphis Tigers basketball team in action when they'll face off Austin Peay. And Austin Peay, I think they're 7-7 right now. They're 1-5 away from their home gym. But I think when we look up in a couple of years, this could be an Austin Peay team that we're talking about, a fun Austin Peay team. Emmanuel Hansel, who Memphis recruited a couple of years ago, the young man with one arm, is getting some good minutes for them off the bench. An unbelievable story he is. And their leading scorer, DeMarcus Sharp, he is leading the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. Also, he leading the team mostly in field goal percentage for the amount of minutes he's playing. So, I mean, an unbelievable player in DeMarcus Sharp, who came with this head coach from Northwestern State from last year. So if you want those tickets, text in, call in, and we will be giving those away for tomorrow night's game. 901-360-8255, Memphis versus Austin Peay. But we need to go ahead and get to a break, and we're talking about the Tiger basketball team. They've got Austin Peay tomorrow, so when we come back to start our third and final hour, we're talking Tiger basketball with Jason Munns.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Are you wearing a hat that says meat?
Yep, it's the final piece of my collection.
Your collection of meat hats?
My collection of Central Barbecue merchandise.
Oh, okay, I've noticed you have a few Central Barbecue t-shirts.
A few. I've got a lot of Central Barbecue t-shirts. In fact, I have them all.
How many are there?
Well, let's see. There's 11 of the basic t-shirts.
11?
And like all other cool Central Barbecue merch, they're available at eatcbq.com.
Did you just use the word merch in conversation?
Not just any merch. CBQ merch. Hats, t-shirts, cups, even kids and baby clothes for when the little me comes along. That kid's going to love Central Barbecue because they have such great
merch.
Ribs.
Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, golf, or real estate, having the winning coach makes all the difference in your success. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I'm with Coach Terry Tippett, winner of 6 state basketball championships. Coach, what's been the secret to your and your team's successes?
Sheldon, there's no one secret. It becomes a pattern of success after coaching for so many years and learning the ins and outs of the game and the players, a lot like the pattern of your success in selling homes.
Thanks, Coach. Like you and your program, I developed my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option, and I also tried to use it in my golf game.
Sheldon, tried is the optimum word. You better stick to selling homes, as you're always hitting holes in one at that, instead of double bogeys.
Thanks a lot. And if anyone is thinking of selling their home, make sure and talk to 2 to 3 coaches. I mean real estate brokers. Let me be one of them. You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com and be a winner.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Fiveash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's our season of giving back at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and we've got the perfect holiday gift for you. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Get road-ready SUVs, Seat 7 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 8-passenger seating in your new 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus, you'll get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
$650 acquisition fee. Forte RE $699,094. MSRP $21,385. Sorrento PG $242,710. MSRP $33,010. Telluride RG $462, $2822. MSRP $38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024. Dealer stock only.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. There's a couple of wrecks here on the clearing stages. It's starting to pick up a bit over here on 240 on the Bill Morris Parkway going outbound. That still looks pretty good headed out towards Collierville as it increases on 40 East from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway. Tons of radar already out here this afternoon. You're going to see a lot of that over the next 3 days. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus with you. No Brett, no Johnny. They're out today. Hopefully they're back on Tuesday. But Jason Munns, the Tiger basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, he joins us. Every single Friday to talk about the Tigers. And as always, he's presented by Jim's Place in Collierville. Head out to Jim's Place, 3660 South Houston Levee Road out in Collierville. They're open 5 to 10 tonight. They've also got lunch throughout the weekdays. So a great option. Holiday hours are changed this weekend on Sunday, 4 to 10 p.m. on New Year's Eve. So make sure you get out there and check out Jim's Place in Collierville. But Jason Munns joins us now. Jason, thanks so much for joining us. Tigers wrap up their non-conference schedule tomorrow afternoon against Austin Peay. But last Saturday, a big game inside FedEx Forum against a Vanderbilt team. And last week we talked about it a lot, Jason. A team that has kind of struggled to start the season and have been trying to find their way. A lot of young guys on that Vanderbilt roster. But it was a fight inside FedEx Forum on Saturday. To me, it looked like a team that just ran through a gauntlet in Memphis, beaten 3 straight top 25 opponents and had a couple days of break on the other side of Vanderbilt, maybe overlooking them. And then on the other side, Vanderbilt, a great opportunity against a ranked team on the road to get a marquee win before SEC play started. What did you see on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, all of that certainly factors into, I think, factors very much into what we saw last weekend when Memphis had to rally, not only rally, but also avoid what would have been a gut punch, a last-second, potential game winner from Ezra Mannion. That if it had gone in, it would have been a walk-off. It would have been a walk-off win for Vanderbilt. I think everything you sort of laid out there was certainly contributed to how the whole thing played out, but. If you listen to Penny in the post game, obviously we already knew that Jaquan Walton was dealing with an ankle issue. Penny said afterwards that he played at about 80%, and he's struggling on top of that. So you had that, and then Penny also said that David Jones and Caleb Mills had been sick going into the game. That they had both had multiple. There were multiple days where they were receiving fluids, IV fluid, and so I think that had something to do with it. But at the same time, David Jones went out and scored 28 points.
Right.
And Caleb Mills played very well as well. I think David Jones also had 9 rebounds in that game, continuing to just be kind of a revelation for these Tigers. I mean, he was good. Don't get me wrong. He was good at DePaul. He was good at St. John's, but he's been great, borderline elite at Memphis this season so far. So despite his whatever physical stuff he was dealing with during the week, he was still really, really good for Memphis. And but yeah, no, I think that the fact that, a lot of the guys had travel plans that started immediately after the game.
Right.
And, so that kind of could make for some awkward mental gymnastics that you got to deal with. So yeah, it was just sort of a lot of things. But ultimately, you asked me what I saw. I saw Memphis overcome the challenges that they were faced with and win the basketball game.
Right, absolutely. And I think, that adversity, and you saw, I don't know if some of the past Penny Hardaway teams that we've seen would have been able to, figure those things out as well as this team has, not only in that game against Vanderbilt, but in some of these previous games. It was noted by you. You reported it before the game started, and it was very noticeable on the bench. J.J. Taylor and Jonathan Pierre both missed last weekend's game for disciplinary reasons that you reported. Will they be back on the bench this weekend? What have you learned about that situation?
Yeah, as far as I know, the expectation is that they will both be back for the Austin P game. Now, the expectation and the reality sometimes don't match up, but but based on what I'm understanding is, since then is that the expectation is they'll both be back. It was from what I was told, it was relatively minor. The stuff that got them the team rules that they broke was relatively minor stuff, but still stuff that you got to hold people accountable for. And and so yeah, I think I anticipate they'll both be back tomorrow and available for Memphis. But the other thing that I forgot to mention, that maybe perhaps the biggest thing other than the win that I saw Saturday was Naquan Tomlin.
That's right.
Play in a Memphis Tigers uniform. That was that might have been the biggest story of the day.
Mm-hmm. And that was, I've been talking about it all week. Just the moment, Johnny and I were there, and we had good seats on the opposite side of the bench, and you saw Penny kind of look over and say, hey, go check in. And immediately when he stands up, people that were sitting kind of behind the bench started kind of getting to their feet. You hear the noise kind of start being made. Then he checks in, gets a standing ovation. And then on top of that, goes out a guy that, shot 27% from 3 at Kansas State, goes out and knocks down a 3 his first possession. What really stood out to you in his first game as a Tiger?
Everything. The fact that it took him 4 seconds to announce his arrival, so to speak. And it wasn't like the other part of it, as far as the 3-pointer that he hit as soon as he stepped on the floor, pretty much it looked good too.
Yeah.
He is I believe a true 3-level guy. And it just, everything he does looks good. And, so there was that. There was, you noticed the rust. Mm-hmm. You did notice that, like that. There was very clearly some rust there. But you can kind of see now. You've got some tangible evidence of what this team could be now. Now that he's officially good to go, and you think you've pretty much got what you're going to have the rest of the way, and you've got 12 games now worth of worth of sample size from Javon Quinterly and David Jones and Caleb Mills and Jaquan Walton and Malcolm Dandridge. I just, the thing that I've been thinking about over the last few days is I really, if the first 12 games of this season was them kind of getting used to each other and getting acclimated to Penny Hardaway and getting settled, then I shudder to think what it looks like when they're really clicking.
Yeah.
I mean, and it could start pretty soon, them actually clicking, and that's going to be a very dangerous thing, I think.
Yeah, no, it's already fun watching this team, and like you said, if they can start, really clicking, and because that's kind of been what Penny Hardaway has been saying. I know, I don't know if it was after that game against Vanderbilt, if it was another time, but someone asked him about kind of mid-season grades or mid-year, end-of-the-year grades, and he gave the offense a D and kind of gave everything else like an A or B, but gave that offense a D. I mean, what levels do you think this offense can get to if Penny Hardaway is looking at this team, the same team he's seen preseason and in practices, and saying, we're nowhere close to where we could be?
Yeah, I mean, I think what he's thinking about is Naquan Tomlin isn't at the peak of his powers yet.
Mm-hmm.
Jaquan Walton has been pretty bad offensively. Now the good thing about what the struggles that Jaquan is going through right now is that he is still playing defense.
Yeah.
He's still rebounding. He's still giving you some other stuff. But, once he snaps out of it, then there's that could level this offense up a grade or half a grade. If Ashton Hardaway can, give you some stuff again. I mean, obviously you saw what he did against Michigan, and he hasn't really replicated that since. But what does he bring? What does this offense become when he kind of finds his footing and can give you some consistent production? I'm not sure that Nick Jourdain has gotten to where he can get offensively. Kind of Malcolm Dandridge the same way. Not sure we've seen the best offensive Malcolm Dandridge that we can. He only took one shot, I think, against Vandy. And it was the lob dunk from Caleb Mills, and I think the game before he was 2 for 10 from the floor or something like that.
Wow.
So, but you don't even notice it because he's rebounding the heck out of the ball and doing so much great other great stuff, blocking shots and really getting after guys on defense. So I think that's probably what Penny is thinking is David Jones and Javon Quinterly are really the only two who are humming right along on offense. Once you get everybody going, then there's still plenty of room to grow on offense.
Talking to Jason Munns, the Tiger basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. He's presented every week by Jim's Place in Collierville. And the news today, Jason, and you wrote about it over at the Commercial Appeal, Penny Hardaway has been nominated for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. You wrote a story about it. You had conversations with Penny in the offseason earlier this year about this, getting to the Hall of Fame, of what that could look like. And now today he has been nominated. What did you make of that news? And then what have been those conversations you've had with Penny in the past about getting into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, so we actually sat down in the Dominican Republic back in August and, covered a lot of ground. It was just he and I, and we covered a lot of ground about various topics, but one of them was that, when the thing that really kind of stands out to me is anytime I talk to a recruit or a transfer or somebody like that, I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone refer to him as a Hall of Famer.
Wow.
And it's mainly these recruits and stuff, and I don't think that anybody's telling them that. I think they just assume that Penny Hardaway is a Hall of Famer because let's be honest, though, like between what he did in college and what he did in the NBA, and so far what he's obviously this nomination is only as a player. It's not for what he's done as a coach, but still, he's kind of an icon. And the fact that this is the first time he's been nominated for the Hall of Fame. It's kind of a lot of people. I think the reaction a lot of people gave was like, "What? I didn't realize that."
Yeah.
This is kind of surprising, but there's a ton of people who are on the ballot. Who knows what's going to happen? But I actually saw Mike DeCourcy, who was a Tiger basketball beat writer at the Commercial Appeal back in the day. He now works for the Sporting News, and he wrote something just a few minutes ago that I saw that said, if Gale Sayers can be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, then why can't Penny Hardaway be in the Basketball Hall of Fame?
That's a good point.
Essentially saying that, Gale Sayers, shined very, very brightly for a brief period of time, and yet he's in the Hall of Fame. Penny Hardaway was, he was a global superstar and played at that level for 4 or 5 seasons, and then injuries got him and hampered him the rest of his career. But still, Penny said it to me this way. He said that he would put his numbers when he was healthy and in his prime. He puts his numbers up against anybody else when they were healthy and in their prime.
Wow.
And yeah, I think the exact quote that he uses, "I know I'm a Hall of Famer." So
yeah,
maybe that's going to come true.
I would certainly hope so. Tomorrow, the game against Austin Peay, a good game to end non-conference play with, as the Tigers, when the new year starts, they'll kick off their conference schedule. What do you expect to see in this game tomorrow against Austin Peay? It blew my mind when I saw that DeMarcus Sharp, their point guard, is not only leading the team in scoring and assists, but also rebounds, steals, and blocks. What do you expect to see tomorrow against Austin Peay?
Yes, like if you actually dive into what Austin Peay is, they're not bad.
No.
DeMarcus Sharp is really he's a high level guy. He was a finalist for the Lou Henson Mid-Major Player of the Year award last season that ultimately went to Jordan Brown. And so he's very good. DeMarcus Sharp is really, really good. But he is just one guy, and I think that's kind of what's getting Austin Peay right now. But there's going to be some familiar faces. Rodney Hamilton is the associate head coach. He was here for 4 seasons under Penny Hardaway as his director of basketball operations, so it'll be good to see him. Hansel Emmanuel, the one-armed Dominican player who, was this sort of viral sensation when he was, before he got to college. He, like DeMarcus Sharp, went to Northwestern State out of high school and is now at Austin Peay. And he is actually, I think, 57th. I looked this up. He is 57th in the country in block percentage.
Wow.
He plays roughly 18 minutes a game, has even started 3 games for Austin Peay. And he has, I think, 14 or 15 blocks with one arm.
That's incredible.
He's a freak athlete. He just has one arm. So he's not much of a scorer, but he's really, really active defensively. And so it'll be fun to watch him and see what he, see him up close and personal. But at the end of the day, I think Memphis shouldn't have any problems.
No.
I think they're going to have, regrouped and refreshed, and they'll be raring to go tomorrow.
Yeah. Last thing for you, Jason, before we let you go. You wrote another story earlier this week about the 6 most important games left on Memphis's schedule. Which one of these conference games really stood out to you? I'm sure FAU sticks out to a lot of people, but what are some of these games that maybe people are overlooking in conference schedule for the Tigers?
Yeah, I went with 6. The assignment was just to go with 5 because that's a better, more rounder number.
Right.
But I had to go with 6 because both FAU games are certainly going to be on that list. But to me, Charlotte, I think, is going to be, if you're talking, Charlotte's not a very good team. They're coming to FedEx Forum. It's the game right before FAU comes to FedEx Forum. And so, I know teams don't like to hear the term trap game, but that's kind of one of them. And then not only that, I also pegged UAB at home is the game right before they travel to FAU. And UAB is, not a bad team. They got Eric Gaines back, and he's playing at a really high level. Obviously, Andy Kennedy is their coach. UAB got better as the season went along. So if they're gonna do that again this year, then that could be a tricky matchup later in the season, right before they go to Boca Raton. And then I added next week's Tulsa game just because it's the first conference game, and then at Tulane, Memphis. Just, it seems like it's a dogfight every single time Memphis goes down to New Orleans. And, there's a lot of familiar names down there. Kevin Cross, Sion James, Jalen Forbes, Ron Hunter, Coach Ron Hunter. I think that's going to be a tough matchup too.
Yeah, no, there's going to be some that, the Tigers can't overlook any of these conference games because they're going to get the best game from most all of these teams. But they've started the season extremely well, and they should be able to really cap off that non-conference slate with a good win tomorrow night. Jason, thanks so much for joining us. As always, a ton of fun. Happy New Year to you, and we'll do it again next week.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Jason. Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. He joins us every single Friday, the Tiger basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Can't rave about his work enough over at the Commercial Appeal, and also on social media, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it Twitter. He does a great job, and also presented by Jim's Place in Collierville every single week. Well, our 5 o'clock hour is presented every single week by the fine people over at Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Jean on the historic square in Collierville since 1961. Charles Hall, he started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, they own the place, known for all the boots, but also clothing, accessories, and a cap for any team in any season. They've got Western wear, work boots, safety toe, soft toe, rubber boots, boots for every single occasion at Hewlett and Dunn. And from head to toe, they've got you covered with every brand imaginable. Ariat, Dan Post, Anderson Bean, whether for men or women, and you can get all your clothes shopping done at Hewlett and Dunn. Jeans, pants, shirts, shorts, outerwear, everything you can think of in the best duckhead collection you'll find. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville, or to their website, hewlettdunn.com. They've also got you covered with all the accessories like hats, sunglasses, boot care products in every area, team snapback or cool hat you can think of. Whether it's the Tigers, Mississippi State, UT, Ole Miss, or the Razorbacks, they've got it. And for travel, their bag selection is top-notch. HewlettDunn.com, but please head out to Collierville, give them a visit, and say hello at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn. Well, we need to get to a break, and when we come back, 5:30 on a Friday, you know what that means. It'll be time for our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none. Commercial and residential. Residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
I just left those Ford and Toyota dealers. You ought to see their selection of new cars and trucks. And you should see their prices. Santa Trades at Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Top trade-in for old sleds, immediate financing, a true bargain lot with cars and trucks under $99.95. And remember, Sunrise specializes in first-time buyers. Want to buy a car or truck and have some left over for the holidays? SunriseMemphis.com. Covington, Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. Happy holidays.
The season has changed. You know how I know? It's finally here, the Family Leisure Christmas Sale. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Oh, we're just beginning. Tired and sore from shopping? Check out the huge selection in stock of hot tubs and massage chairs. Oh, and you can surprise the kids with the best stuff, like a new arcade, a game table, even a play gym. Gifts for the whole family to enjoy and enjoy together. Also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. That's Family Leisure of Memphis. Every year we wait. They always deliver. They've done it again. The Family Leisure Christmas Sale is happening at I-40 and Whitten Road. That's 2120 Whitten Road to be exact. That's the place of shopping heaven. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Girls and boys in poverty around the world are dreaming of a better life, filled with dance, art, music, and knowledge. They dream of a brighter future with enough nutritious food to eat, a chance to learn and grow, to get an education, escape poverty, and do incredible things. Today, thanks to Children International and friends like you, such dreams are coming true. Together, we give children a chance to set their sights high and succeed in school and in life by ensuring that they have access to healthcare, education, life skills, and so much more so they can grow, thrive, and believe in themselves. Learn more about Children International and join us in our life-changing work at children.org today. Together, we can help end poverty for good.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a proud division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. They've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Bill Samish, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763, or the office in Collierville, or online at fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you. They're a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I have had an account, been a friend, and been a customer my entire life.
Well, it's a busy weekend in football as we've got a lot of bowl games. We've also got a full slate in the NFL, so we've got a lot of picks to get to. So let's start off with tonight. First off, before we do any of that, let me give you an update on this Memphis game. The Tigers up by 10 points as we are down under 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they're just trying to run this clock out. The stat that they just showed up on ESPN. Rushing yards, Memphis, 161. Iowa State, 0. An incredible defensive effort by this Tiger team. And I had to mention it as they're getting close to 3 minutes left in that fourth quarter. And thank you again to First National Bank and Trust. They've been with us all year. They've been with us for years, and we appreciate them more than they know, sponsoring this segment every single Friday, every single year. Well, let's start tonight with the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, 7 p.m. on ESPN. Missouri 10-2 against Ohio State, who enters the game 11-1. I'm going to take Ohio State. I really think there's a reason that this line continues to move in Ohio State's favor. I don't know what that reason is. I could be completely wrong, but I will side with Ohio State tonight. Brett and Johnny are both going to take Missouri, and I think that's a good pick. I was not far off from choosing Missouri myself to give us a group lock, but I'll side with Ohio State tonight. Also, one of my best friends is a big Ohio State fan, so I think that's also a reason I'm picking them tonight. He's also at the game, so hopefully he can get a win at the Cotton Bowl. 11 a.m. tomorrow on ESPN, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the game Brett Norsworthy is at and will be on the call for. Let me remind you, we'll have complete coverage of the Peach Bowl, 9 a.m. pregame for Ole Miss, Penn State, with that kickoff at 11 a.m. I'm going to take Penn State. I really like Penn State. Their defense, I think, can give Ole Miss trouble, so I'll take them. And Brett and Johnny will both take Ole Miss. In the 1 p.m. tomorrow in the TransPerfect Music City Bowl, Auburn favored over Maryland tomorrow afternoon in what should be a good game. I'm going to take Auburn in that one, minus the 7.5. I should remind you, Penn State is a 4.5-point favorite over Ole Miss, and then Ohio State tonight, we're playing it at 3.5. But tomorrow in the Music City Bowl, Auburn a 7.5-point favorite. I'm going to side with Auburn here. I think it could be a huge game for them to get some momentum going into next season, another year under this coaching staff. So I think they'll want to go out and really hand it to Maryland. I haven't been sold on Maryland all season long, and so I am going to side with Auburn here. Brett, on the other hand, is going to go with Maryland, and Johnny is also going to take Auburn minus the 7.5. 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon on ESPN, the Capital One Orange Bowl, Georgia, a 19.5-point favorite over Florida State. Brett, he is taking Georgia with all the opt-outs, with all the transfers for Florida State. He's going to take Georgia. Johnny also going to take Georgia in that one tomorrow. I'm going to take Florida State. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and see what happens. Florida State, yes, a lot of opt-outs, a lot of transfers. What does that mean? We've been talking about it kind of all week, but certainly a lot today. Young guys given opportunities, can they make the most of it? On the other side, you have a Georgia team that had no thought in their mind going into the season, going into the conference championship a couple weeks ago, that they would be playing in the Orange Bowl. They thought they would be playing in the college football playoff semifinals on Monday, but instead they're playing in the Orange Bowl. I'm curious if we will have a little bit of, just guys saying, whatever, I don't care about this bowl, going out there, going through the motions. So I'm going to side with Florida State with such a big line. I will take them to cover the massive spread. But like I said, Brett and Johnny both going to take Georgia. Tomorrow afternoon, the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, 3:30 on the CW, also going to be streamed on over at barstool.com if you don't get the CW. Wyoming, a 3.5-point favorite over Toledo. Brett and Johnny are both taking Toledo. I am going to take Wyoming in that one. I've really liked watching Wyoming this year. I think they have a pretty good team over there, and I think have played a tougher schedule than Toledo. But Toledo's a great team, and I think they could have a lot of success in that one tomorrow. 11 a.m. on Monday, the ReliaQuest Bowl on ESPN2, Wisconsin and LSU. I am going to take LSU in that one. They are a 10.5-point favorite in that game. I'm going to take Wisconsin. I can't read, it would seem. I'm going to take Wisconsin to cover the 10.5. Brett and Johnny are both going to take LSU. Monday at noon on ESPN, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, Liberty and Oregon. Right now, Oregon a 16.5-point favorite over the Group of 5 representative Liberty. I think Liberty's going to go in there, and they've been underdogs only a couple times this season, but they have done a good job covering and winning those games when they are the underdogs. So I'm going to take Liberty to cover in this one. I don't think they win, but I think they cover. Oregon on the other side, both Brett and Johnny are going to take the Ducks. I also think maybe they certainly thought they were going to be in the semifinals, and they were a 9.5-point favorite against Washington in that conference championship. So they certainly thought they would be there. I haven't seen anything. Maybe I just haven't looked up if Bo Nix is playing or not. So that would certainly be a factor in that game. 12 o'clock on Monday, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl on ABC. Iowa and Tennessee. Iowa 10-3 on the year. Tennessee 8-4 in Tennessee, a 6.5-point favorite in that game. Both Brett and Johnny are going to take Tennessee. The young freshman Nico is getting the start for Tennessee, so we'll get to see, is the future bright for the Volunteers? I think it really is. I think this is a really good quarterback, and I'm excited to see what he can do in that one. But this Iowa defense, there's a reason that the totals, I should say, have been in the mid-20s, and they've still been getting unders against Big Ten opponents. This defense is elite. They're bringing back some really good players that are going to play in that bowl game on Monday. So I'm going to take the Iowa Hawkeyes, I almost said Cyclones, because of what the Memphis Tigers are doing to the Iowa State Cyclones right now. But I'll take Iowa to cover in that one, plus the 6.5. Now to the college football playoff semifinals. The first game on ESPN, 4 o'clock, the semifinal at the Rose Bowl. 4-seeded Alabama, they enter 12-1 on the year, versus number 1-seeded Michigan, who is an undefeated 13-0 Michigan, a 1.5-point favorite. And I'm a little surprised, a group lock from us, the first group lock of the day, all Alabama in this one. So we all think Alabama is going to cover the 1.5, which I think we would all say we think Alabama's going to win this. And for me, especially in a game of this magnitude, I do not like to bet against Nick Saban. So please give me Alabama. In the other college football playoff semifinal game at 7:30, the college football playoff semifinals at the Sugar Bowl, Texas, they are the 3rd seed, 12-1 on the year, going up against the 2nd-seeded Washington Huskies. I'm going to take Washington. I've loved Washington all season long. Michael Penix, these receivers they have NFL caliber receivers out there, and they make it look easy. This offense is electric. We talked earlier with Alan Bell and Bruce Marshall about the totals of these games. You can see the difference in the styles of plays, at least Vegas thinks we're going to have. They think we're going to get a shootout in this game, Texas and Washington, and I'm going to take Washington plus the 4.5. They've been doubted seemingly all season long. People have wanted to doubt Washington. They were doubted in that conference championship game that we were just talking about from Oregon's point of view. They were a big underdog, and they went out, and yes, there were times where I thought they were going to lose that game, and hope had been lost, but they ended up winning it. They ended up covering massively because they were a big underdog. So I'm going to take Washington here again as an underdog. I don't think they should be the underdog in this game, so I'll take Washington, but both Brett and Johnny are going to take Texas. And so if you look at our picks, especially Brett and Johnny, they both think we're going to get the rematch between Alabama and Texas, which I think would be really good. I think, and we've talked about this kind of all week, but I don't think what I'm about to say, which is any way we get to the national championship, I think it's going to be a heck of a game that a ton of people are going to be intrigued about and are going to want to watch. That is not an excuse for Florida State out of the college football playoffs. And that's kind of where we were the day after. I remember coming in and reading online and watching things, and the people that said Florida State shouldn't be in the college football playoffs were saying, well, just wait. In a month, when it's Alabama and Texas in the national championship, when it's Michigan and Texas, when it's Michigan and Washington, Alabama and Washington, whatever it is, you're going to be freaking out. You're going to love this. And you're also going to love the semifinal games when we come around to the time to play those. And I don't think that me saying, yeah, I'm excited for these semifinal games, and yeah, I'm excited for that national championship is an excuse for Florida State to not be in the college football playoffs. And I think they cover. And I would almost say with all the opt-outs and the transfers, I think Florida State covering in that situation might be just as good as winning at this point. But it really should be a extremely fun weekend in college football over with all of these bowl games, I should say. But we also got to get to our NFL lock and shock for the weekend. Reminder, Johnny is just picking football bowl games with us because of Brett's absence over the last couple of weeks. So let's get to our locks and our shocks. Brett's lock, he's going to take Buffalo minus the 13.5 over the New England Patriots. I'm going to take Tampa Bay minus 2.5 at home against the Saints. Tampa Bay has really been rolling lately, and I think at home against the Saints, they continue rolling and win that game at least by a field goal on Sunday. Our shocks, this doesn't happen very often, but both me and Brett are both taking Miami plus the 3.5, the Dolphins plus 3.5 over the Ravens. I think this is a classic. Ravens getting all of the talk and all of the shine on television and on the radios and everything with that win over San Francisco. But I think it's a close game, especially if I can get it at that 3.5. I am certainly going to take it. Well, those are our picks for our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. Again, thank you so much to First National Bank and Trust for being with us and being with us all season long. Well, we need to get to a break, a final break of the day, final break of the week, final break of the year is here. On the other side, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers Stay Hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. I like putting parlay bets together, hammering the overs, and anytime player touchdown bets always have me on the edge of my seat. So if you're ready to do the same, visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498. MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424-710. MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822. MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Once again, here are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman?
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, what I learned today, we've got final scores. The final whistle has blown, and the Memphis Tigers are the 2023 AutoZone Liberty Bowl champions. 36-26, the final score for the Tigers. Just an unbelievable game from this group. They enter the game as a 10.5-point underdog, and they come out, they score 19 points in the first quarter and hold Iowa State scoreless, and that really set the tempo for the rest of the game. Yeah, Iowa State came back, made it a little bit close, but it almost never felt like it was super in doubt. Seth Hennigan, 24 for 34, 364 yards, 4 touchdowns. He averaged 10.7 yards per pass. Blake Watson finishes over 100 yards, 107 yards for the back, 166 yards as a group. And Rock Taylor, I was mentioning Demir Blankenship, Joe Skates leading the way early, but Rock Taylor, 8 catches for 102 yards. So you've got a 100-yard rusher, a 100-yard receiver, a quarterback who threw for over 300 yards. What more could you want? Oh, how about that quarterback having the most career passing yards in program history with still another year to play? How about the defense holding Iowa State to 0 total rushing yards on 20 carries? An absolutely unbelievable game and really season for the Tigers. They finished with 10 wins, the 4th time Memphis has finished the season with 10 wins since 2014. An awesome win for the Tigers, an awesome win for the program, a revenge win over Iowa State in the previous AutoZone Liberty Bowl in 2017. Well, what I could have done without is this story. We really haven't talked about it much, and it's really an uncomfortable thing to talk about because it's just sick. Anytime you talk about people with underage children, it's just disgusting. But we all know Tampa Bay Rays shortstop, really phenom, Wander Franco. The rumors that have come out, the reports that have come out, the investigations that are ongoing. He did not finish the season with the team because of this. The stories out of the Dominican Republic that said he had relationships with a minor. At least 2 people have filed legal action against Franco, and he is alleged to have had a relationship with a 3rd minor. That's in the story from CBS Sports, because yesterday, this is the start of it. I'll just read it from CBS Sports. Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco has failed to appear in response to a summons issued by authorities in his native Dominican Republic. ESPN's Juan Arturo Recio reports. The summons is related to an ongoing investigation by local authorities into Franco's alleged inappropriate relationships with a series of minors, and the head of investigative agency confirmed that Franco did not respond to the appointed deadline. There were also reports yesterday that 2 houses were raided yesterday looking for Franco and looking for other evidence for this trial, and so it's not looking good for Wander Franco. Kind of the same thing I said yesterday with Terrence Shannon Jr. Certainly innocent until proven guilty. When you do things like this, it makes people question your how innocent you are, but if he is guilty of this, I hope the justice system carries out everything they can in terms of justice for those underage women. Where am I going to beam tonight? Really beam this weekend. There's not a bad answer. There are so many good games when you talk about bowl games, when you talk about the NFL, NBA, college basketball. You really can't go wrong with any of these, but I think beam me to the college football playoff semifinal games this weekend. Starts at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday with Michigan and Alabama, and then it finishes off later that night with Texas and Washington. I think both of those games are going to be extremely entertaining, fun to watch, and we'll see. We'll be talking about it Tuesday when we come back in here, but who will be playing in the national championship this season. But tonight, where am I going to beam tonight? How about a game later this evening? San Diego State, who made the Final Four last year on the road at 13th ranked Gonzaga. That game, 8 p.m. our time, and will be on ESPN2 if you want to watch it. Let me remind you before we get out of here what the weekend looks like up here at Sports 56, because we've got you covered all weekend long. Tomorrow morning, Ole Miss versus Penn State in the Peach Bowl. Coverage for that game will start at 9 a.m. with kickoff around 11. Later that night, Lions at Cowboys in the NFL. 6:45 we'll start our pregame for that one. That game will kick off at about 7:15. On Sunday, we won't be carrying any early NFL games because we'll be carrying Ole Miss versus Bryant basketball pregame at 2:30 for the 3 p.m. tip. And then that night, we'll have Sunday Night Football, Packers versus Vikings. That's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your weekend. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Friday afternoon. We'll do it again on Tuesday.
It's our season of giving back at Gossett.